Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Film Tangents podcast. On this mic, we got Jake. On that mic is Edward, and that's the God's honest truth. Those are the correct names. Yeah.
So you say. I think every episode that has started, we've fed the audience a different thing.
And honestly, don't listen to this podcast. We're feeding you a pack of lies. I mean, that's
honestly, listener, if you're listening, whatever you believe in your heart, whatever you believe in your heart of hearts. That's the honest. Yeah. That's the honest truth.
I was gonna say heart of hearts as well. That's a fun thing to say. It's all been a pack of lies.
Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, people listening, don't forget to unlike this video.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you already liked it. Yeah, it only takes 2 seconds, but I'd really appreciate it if you scrolled down. Just go ahead and unsubscribe, check that bell notification. Yeah, because look, why are you listening to this? This is trash. Go outside and play. Delete YouTube.
Go outside. Touch some grass. Don't follow us on the podcast on Apple Podcasts. If you reviewed the podcast and gave it 5 stars, review the podcast and take back your 5 stars.
Yeah.
Take everything back.
Yeah. Yep.
Play this video backwards, and you will see that this is all like a big ritual in which we're saying things backwards that you wouldn't know it unless you listen to the whole podcast backwards.
I love when people say that. They're like, if you push Stairway to Heaven backwards, it's like a satanic message. Just like, what? Where are you getting this from? Like, how gullible are you? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a thing for a while. But listening to songs backwards and being like, "There's a hidden message in you."
I know. It's because you can pretty much make it whatever you want. It's like constellations. It's the same thing with constellations. It's like, oh, if those stars form a dragon, it's like, well, yeah, maybe if you connect the dots in such a way that a dragon would appear within the lines you've drawn, then yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I just scatter a bunch of fucking dots and then I draw a dragon over it. Look, it's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I just got a dragon tattoo. I'm the guy with the dragon tattoo now. Which that I forgot to mention that on the podcast last week, but I got my first tattoo.
You were going to.
Yeah, I guess I could put it in the community page now that I've mentioned it. But yeah, it's the Ouroboros, the serpent or dragon, eating its own tail. Very, very, very ancient symbol. Goes all the way back to at least ancient Egypt, and then popped up in a lot of cultures. And then Nietzsche adopted it, I think, or maybe it's just used to describe Nietzsche's concept of the eternal return, time as a flat circle, that kind of thing, which is a very interesting concept. I won't go into it now, but if anyone wants to look that up, just look up the eternal return, and it's Nietzsche. And he talked about it as kind of like a life-affirming thought experiment where it's basically a litmus test for your ability to affirm life or appreciate life. But I always thought, and then Stephen King has a short story about it too. Forget what this short story is called, but it's basically like a guy dies and then he's in this sort of lobby kind of place, and it's like the afterlife, and the guy's like, okay, so you can either go to this door and there's just nothingness and you'll just go to sleep forever, or if you go through this door, you'll relive your life again, but in the exact same way you lived it, with nothing different whatsoever, like the exact same. And so the guy's forced to kind of look back on his life and be like, well, there's a lot of good stuff, but there's also a lot of bad stuff, and I did die of cancer at the end there, and that wasn't fun. Yeah. So very interesting thought experiment, and Stephen King did a nice kind of take on it with a short story. But I've always found it fascinating, and it's also a super badass design. So, but I got it as an armband on my right forearm, and I opted for the dragon rather than a serpent. So it goes around my forearm basically. But yeah, I'll post a picture of it in the community page. But anyway, so that was fun.
I thought I had when you mentioned like drawing it, and obviously those listening, they know the movie that we're talking about today. So that's an interesting thing. We're watching kind of like a serpent dragon movie, and you
That's
have
right.
that new tattoo.
That's right, man. Maybe I'll
Look
get
at that, Jake.
a Quetzalcoatlus tattoo next, a Q tattoo. I've always liked that. I mean, I like the Quetzalcoatl design, but I've some more tattoo ideas, but I'm gonna let this one simmer for a little while and enjoy this one, and then let a few other ideas simmer. Because I don't know. For me, it's like I've wanted this tattoo for a while now, and it's like the ideas that certain tattoo ideas I feel like come and go. Where like 1 week you're like that would be really cool, and then the next week you're like I don't know about that. But
Lame.
but the ones that really stick around, are the ones you want to go with.
Yeah.
Like or whereas like at one point I wanted to tattoo like proud son on my chest, and then I was like maybe not. No, I'm kidding. But I knew a guy at a place I worked a few years ago who had proud dad tattooed on his chest. He was like, I regret it so much, I'm getting it
Really?
removed.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm like,
course.
what possessed you to get that? Proud father. It's like a bumper sticker.
He had a moment, dude.
Yeah, I guess. But
He had a moment where he felt proud.
yeah. But yeah, at least where I got the tattoo, it didn't hurt too much. I mean, it did take about 5 hours. It does get a little tiresome after a while, but it's not that bad. Honestly, the worst part was the end, because at the end when they're finished with it, they kind of wipe it off. They wipe off all the excess ink and stuff, and then they clean it because they have to put a clear bandage on it, like one of those burn victim bandages, basically. And before they do that, they have to clean it with alcohol, and that fucking stings, dude. Like dude, the guy, the tattoo artist, he goes like, all right, we're gonna clean it with alcohol, and he goes, this is the worst part. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, this is the worst part. This is worse than the actual tattoo. And I'm like, all right. Dude, it was like he rubbed the alcohol on it, and I'm like, okay. Oh fuck, man. It burned like for a good 10 seconds. It's like burn and burn and burn. And you're like, whoo shit. But no, it's not bad. If you want a tattoo and you're afraid it's gonna hurt, just get one. It's not that bad. I at one point he had me lying face down because he had to get kind of the back of my forearm, and I almost fell asleep. I mean, it's not too bad.
Of course.
Yeah. But anyway, tattoos aside, Edward and I are hanging out this weekend. We're gonna see Dune 2 in theaters. Like every other.
Furious.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Imagine that. They just jump the shark, and it's just like they're just racing cars in the desert. That'd be that'd be
awesome.
Dude, that'd be a sick Mario Kart mod or something. Like if there were sandworms and shit.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
But there is. That's already a thing.
Oh, there is that a thing?
Not worms, but they're like these like weird like things that look like worms in Mario Kart. If you play in like the desert like map,
yeah,
it's not like a 1-to-1 to this, but it's pretty close. Honestly, you saying that it like clicked, I was like, actually, that's kind of like that.
Yeah, because it's been a couple months since we played drunken Mario Kart, so.
Yeah.
But we're seeing. Dune.
We'll see. We'll see if I can get Mario Kart going here. I'll have to check if I'm actually able to do that. We might be able to play Mario Kart. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see. Down. 2 Dune 2 Furious.
Yep. What are your expectations like, man, for Dune 2? What were your thoughts? First of all, what were your thoughts on the first movie, and what are your thoughts going into the new one, man?
Well, it's interesting because I have a very clear answer because I rewatched the first one.
Oh, okay.
I rewatched it a couple nights ago for the sake of this one. And just because I had said that I would for a while, because I know that we watched Dune, the first Dune, you and I watched it alongside of my brother, went out to see it.
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember that we walked out of the theater and I was kind of unimpressed, where my thoughts were that the movie was kind of style over substance,
Yeah.
where it's just a really, nice looking movie, really well shot. Obviously, Denis Villeneuve is known at this point in his career for being a very um, a filmmaker with a very recognizable style,
Yeah.
and also with a very like impeccable like style. Like I was kind of a perfectionist. His movies are so like well put together. Um, but that was my impression of the movie then. That I was just kind of like a little bit style over substance,
Yeah.
a little bit boring, a little bit long, a little bit of not much happens in this movie.
Same here.
Um, and again, having rewatched it a couple days, my impression of the movie now is the same as it was then.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, that is exactly the impression that I had. Like, literally, that's exactly the impression I had. I was like, kind of a little bit too long,
Yeah.
beige, you know,
Beige.
like brown
Yeah, it is a
movie,
very beige movie. Yeah, it
like
is.
it
Very
looks
desert
nice.
tone.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
nice. There's some scenes in that movie that are like weirdly comical, like when I rewatched it, and something that really kind of became clear to me watching this movie, was like how much this movie lacked like any sense of humor. It's
It
extremely
does. Yeah.
self-serious,
I
and
can't remember
everything.
anything in this movie that's
No,
humorous.
no, 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 not one thing. Everything is extremely self-serious. Every line is delivered like with the utmost like this is the line.
Mhm.
And the ending of this movie is extremely overwhelming. And the
You mean
only
underwhelming?
funny part, yeah, and the underwhelming. And the only funny part of this movie is the ending, where he sees the guy riding the sandworm and he goes desert power. and and
That's
Zendaya looks
unintentional.
back at and Zendaya looks back at him and she goes, "This is only the beginning." And the movie ends. You're like and it is unintentional. Obviously, it's not meant to be a joke.
Right, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I gave this movie a 6 when we first watched it. I gave it a 6 again.
I went up
Unimpressed.
to a 7 with it because
Uh,
I rewatched it, like, maybe a year ago because 'cause it's been a while now.
yeah,
I think dude, it's been 2 like, over 2 years now, because I
yeah.
remember what I was doing, like, where I was in life when we saw that movie, and, yeah, I rewatched it at some point between then and now, and it
Mhm,
did go up 1 point for me, like, from a 6 to a 7 because I was
mhm,
going in with, like, those expectations of the rewatch where I'm like, "Okay, I know exactly what this movie is." It's very,
mhm.
just very slow burn and very grandiose, which I like. I think
But
one.
that's a issue that I had with that movie though, that it's slow burn to nothing. Like
Right,
it
yeah.
builds to nothing. Like nothing happens in that movie.
Yeah,
And it's one of those things where like once the midpoint of the film happens,
mhm.
nothing happens in the movie after that.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in the movie after that. You're just kind of left with like, okay, all right. And you're thinking like maybe something will happen, and it almost feels like the movie wants you to just be happy with him meeting Zendaya and being like, oh, that's
Mm.
that's what we're doing. And it's like I don't care about that.
Yeah, and
It's nonsense.
yeah, and you gotta remember too, like, this is a movie that's just based on an old, slow book, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very like, which
And it's only
I
half the
haven't
first book
read.
too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right, and
it's only half the first book.
I haven't read any of the Dune books, and I really don't plan to, like, I just don't think it's for me because I know exactly how they're gonna be, like, they're these old
Right.
kinda books, and especially back then, I feel like books
Overly
now.
descriptive.
Yeah, and books
BS.
now I think are more like movies. Like when I read a newer book that's been published in the last 5 years, it's very just like
Straight to
movie
the
like.
point.
It's
There's
breakneck
not a lot of
pace.
flowery like text accomplishing nothing.
Right. And yeah, and I mean the guy Frank Herbert, I think he researched for the before writing this book for like
He did, yeah.
years.
He did, yeah. He
Years.
lived he lived there. He lived like where these kind of areas are in this world. I don't know exactly
Dune,
where it is.
like
Yeah.
I mean the Sahara Desert, Gobi Desert,
Yeah.
places. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's where he lived, but those are the places that come to mind for me where there's
Yeah, I don't know
big
exactly where it was that he lived,
dunes.
but he lived in one of these dunes, like dune-like places.
I think yeah, I don't even think it was that exotic though. I think it was like I want to say like Panama or Florida or something. I don't know.
In
Somewhere
Panama.
like that. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was yeah, in books like yeah, I think books back then it was just it was kind of different where it's like they're very building and then it's just kind of like a quick climax, you know. It's like building to a, you know, one paragraph sword fight kind of thing.
Yeah.
And books aren't at least from what I read nowadays. I read a lot now and yeah, I read a lot of novels. I try to read, you know, at least half of what I read as someone who's trying to become published. Half of what I read um are books that were published in the last like 5-6 years, you know,
Mhm.
in the last decade at least. So I can get a sense for myself of how people are writing these days, you know, just really train my brain on how to, you know, on how things are written now, what's being published, like what's working, you know. Um
Mhm.
and yeah, it's like very much nowadays like no, this has to deliver on the same level as a movie.
Mhm.
I mean, dude, fuck. I read when I've mentioned it on the podcast, Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. It's like a crime thriller about a getaway
Mhm.
driver who's like getting back in to getaway driving for robberies. I mean, that was like watching a movie. I was like, holy shit, man, just
Yeah.
unreal. But yeah, like yeah, so you know that's the thing. It's like the source material is just very is very kind of slow. There's a lot of political
Mhm.
intrigue, which I like. You know, I used to not like that when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I like political intrigue.
No, I do too.
Stuff
Yeah,
like
for
Game of
sure.
Thrones,
Game of
even Better
Thrones
Call
always comes to
Saul. That
mind.
was one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts of Better Call Saul with the cartel politics and stuff, and like
Mhm.
the cartel Cold War kind of
Mhm.
storylines. Like that was super cool where people are just playing
Yeah,
these big chess
but
games.
that's that's one thing because it's like with this film, that's one of those things that it's like interesting about it for half of it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen Dune 1, maybe skip to the next thing because we're I mean, at this point, it's kind of unavoidable talking about spoilers a little bit. But it kind of builds up to I feel like all of the political chess moves come to a conclusion once Leto, like Oscar Isaac, once his character
Mm.
is done for, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like once that happens, it feels like all that conniving and all that like we're doing this and they're doing that, you know, it feels like all of that comes to an end.
Yeah, because now it's
And then it
war,
just
basically.
exactly. Yeah. And then for the rest of the movie you're just watching, Timothy Chalamet and his mom just navigate the desert, you know.
Right. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, so it's interesting. I will say things that I really love about Dune was just the tone and style, I think was really cool because it's hard, especially in the modern landscape with all the Marvel movies and just the way things look now and the way things feel and there's a lot of humor, the way, you know, the modern Star Wars stuff.
All this
Doing
quippy like
yeah,
stuff.
doing
Yeah.
epic fantasy and especially in the CGI kind of world that we're living in now where doing something kind of serious almost seems more difficult. And
Mhm.
I think I was really impressed with Denis Villeneuve how he was able to just, you know, stay true to the vision and just make it
Mhm.
something that was, you know, felt grounded and serious grounded in its world and serious and didn't, you know, um jump the shark at any point. And it seems I would be surprised if this movie jumps the shark. I haven't heard anything like that. And I've
Yeah.
heard pretty much nothing but great things about this
Yeah, no,
one.
same here.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. My expectations are like pretty mild. I mean, I don't know cuz you know, people use hyperbole now where it's just like, "Oh, it's a masterpiece, cinematic achievement, this and that." And it's like, we'll see.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know.
Right.
But
Right.
people say that about, you know, like everything that comes out now, you know. People are really quick these days, dude, to just jump to Letterbox and give something a 10,
10,
you
10
know.
out of 10.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, really?" And then you'll go look at something and it's got like a 4.5 on Letterboxd, and
Yeah.
it's like, "Whoa, is this for real?" You know?
Yeah.
And then you watch it and you're like, "Yeah, that seems a little bit much." Like, what does the Barbie movie have on Letterboxd? Probably something
I don't
insanely
know.
high.
Probably something like insanely high for a movie that's like average, like at
Yeah,
best.
yeah. 3.5 or 3.9. So that's pretty high. It's pretty high average rating.
And you know that the Rotten Tomatoes is probably like even higher than
99.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
I still can't believe that movie got nominated for Best Picture.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's people who would come at our throats for even questioning that as a decision.
How
I
dare
mean,
you?
honestly, yeah, because like all that I see, like anytime anybody says anything negative about that movie, it's like a cult. It's like that movie has
Yeah.
developed like its own cult. So it just has like defenders because people, I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like sometimes people have very strong emotional experiences with art,
Hmm.
and that's obviously their right. Anybody can experience whatever they want from a movie. Um, but I feel like sometimes people have like such emotional experiences with movies that they let that like override whatever actual merit the thing deserves just because it made them have an emotion.
Are you
But
calling
again,
me emotional, Edward? No.
but again, not to imply that that's something that's wrong, but I feel like that's been happening a lot with this film, with like that
Yeah.
film, where it's like everyone, with their friends or their moms or whatever, and the Billie Eilish song came on, and people were like, "Oh, I'm feeling feelings," and suddenly it's like, "Oh, 10 out of 10,"
Right, right.
um, where it's like, can we not mistake the forest for the trees? Because if that was the case, I feel like, the Fast and Furious 7 would be like the greatest movie ever made, and it would have been nominated for all these Oscars just because people were crying and being like, oh, Paul Walker, they went separate roads at the end. It's like, they
Yeah,
played "See
because
You Again" with
right, right.
Wiz Khalifa. It's like, I feel like we have to separate these things. Like that movie's not that good, man. And part of that movie is a car commercial, which I feel like immediately that you should take points off a movie when you're
Wait, you're
like, this
talking
movie
about
is a car.
Barbie?
Yeah.
Still okay, okay. I didn't know if you had switched to Fast and
Yeah,
Furious.
it's like, what is this
Yeah,
guy going on
no,
about?
no, no. I got you. What was
Nah,
the
the Fast and the
car
Furious are
commercial?
car
Wait, what part
commercials.
was
Yeah.
that? Car commercial. I don't remember that
In what?
in Barbie.
That chase sequence. They all got like in like Nissans or like
Oh,
Chevy like
oh
cars.
my God. That yeah. No, okay, yeah.
I think I sent you like a screenshot of that.
Did you? Yeah.
I think
I
so,
can't
but it was a
remember.
while. It was a while back. Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't even remember too much about that movie other than the fact that it
but
was
it but
super
it's
preachy.
but
Um
it's nominated and it is pretty. And when I remember when the nominations came out, this movie solely this film has made me lose some kind of level of respect for Ryan Gosling.
really?
Some kind of level of respect. Yeah, because when this movie's nominations came out, again, I don't believe the movie should be nominated for anything.
No, no.
And when the nominations came out, he's nominated, and he wrote like this whole thing apologizing for his nomination, or like saying that he feels bad and that it was wrong that that Greta and Margot were not nominated.
Oh, but he
That
was.
whole but he was that whole thing. Whereas like they are nominated because they're producers on the film. The film's nominated for the best picture. Like if the movie wins best picture, they're gonna win Oscars because they're producers.
Right.
Um, regardless, I know that's not the fucking point, but it's yeah. I used to love Ryan Gosling.
Well, yeah, why would he apologize? He's not the one that nominated himself. I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, we live in a world that is ever it's like Randall and Clerks, ever backing down. You buckle like a belt. It's just like everybody
yeah,
just fucking buckles these days and apologizes for breathing air, and it's just
yeah.
like, dude, you didn't do anything wrong, Ryan,
Right, but that
Mr.
upset me because I was like,
Gosling.
why? But that upset me because it's like, what are you doing? And then when people were sharing like gifs of him, because like that song, I'm Just Candid, like won something. Like because again, it's one of those things where in people's minds it has become this is a women's movie and women should be the only ones winning things for them for this movie. So the I'm Just Ken song is also nominated alongside like the Billie Eilish song that plays at the end of the movie.
Oh.
And the Billie Eilish song won like at the Golden Globes. It won. And but then there was like another awards, like the British Awards or something, where the I'm Just Ken song won.
Mm.
And people were showing gifs of Ryan Gosling because he was acting like how could it win? You know, it's like, dude, like again, like just saying that it pissed me off because it's like, what's the issue here? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. To me, that's the better song too. Anyway, that's the song I enjoyed.
Well, here's the thing too about emotional reactions to movies, like, and you know, I can't like, you know, I can't speak for, you know, if someone legit enjoyed the Barbie movie and thinks it's great, like that's totally valid. But the thing is with,
Right.
you know, it's like there's nothing even, because I get that the movie, you know, they probably want to nominate it because of the philosophy, the themes behind the film. You know what I mean? And it's like, while philosophy and theme are the most important part of your story, it's also not. It also has, there's other things, and your story, your movie can still have solid philosophical conflict and themes and still suck.
Right.
I mean, that's, you know, because it's the sum of its parts, right? And in my opinion, like that movie, there was a lot in there that was very preachy. There's a lot of shit that just you know, from top to bottom, it's just like, you know, very you know, the way, the execution is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, because I don't think a Barbie movie should not be nominated for Oscars under any circumstances. You know what I mean? I don't think you think that either.
No, of course not. No.
It's just a matter of execution and the full body of work. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even, who gives a fuck about this movie anyway?
No, but I guess to make a congruent sentence out of this whole thing for me, you know, like you said, like that's never been the issue for me. I think the issue is just like the apologizing. It's like, why does anybody have to apologize for anything?
Yeah.
Especially when we talk about movies. Movies don't matter, man. Like that. I think that's kind of like the overarching sentiment for me. It's like movies don't matter. I know that we're doing a movie podcast called Film Tangents. You know?
Yeah.
But these things don't matter. Like that's what kind of pisses me off about it. It's like it's a shitty product placement movie. You know.
Yeah.
Again, this is just my opinion. Anybody who loves this thing, all the power to you.
Yeah,
you know?
fine.
And I hope this movie wins the fucking best picture. I don't care, you know.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even know when the Oscars was until I just looked it up, and it's this Sunday.
When are they?
This Sunday. Guess I'm staying over one more night, Edward, so we can watch the Oscars.
Yeah, so we can watch the Oscars.
I ain't watching the fucking Oscars, sitting there watching people clap for 3 hours. Fuck you.
But that's the issue that I have with this stuff, where it's like none of this stuff is like a wholly good thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are movies sometimes that I do where I do feel like this movie's important, you know, because of the message or the people that made it or the circumstances. I don't think this is one of those films, honestly. And at the end of the day, to me, it's just a bunch of rich people anyway, you know, making a product that got everybody richer. And like you said, the Oscars is just going to be a thing where they're just going to be sitting around clapping for each other. And that's the problem that I had with the whole presentation of it all, with people like decrying lack of nominations and folks apologizing and acting like their nominations are a robbery to other folks. Like, who cares, man? This is all fucking BS. Like, yeah. That to me is like, the issue. It's like, this is all BS. Let's not act that this is important. Let's not be apologizing for all this bullshit. Like, I don't know. At this point, I'm probably just. At this point, I'm just getting heated.
No.
This be.
No, I agree. You know what I hated the most about this movie too. The part about this movie that I hated, it was like a specific part. So not an aspect of the movie that I hated, but just a part that really grinds my gears. Is
Peter Griffin suddenly.
Yeah. You know what really grinds my gears? No, but there's a part in this movie that ground my gears to no end, man. And it was similar to what Deadpool does, what you've said about Deadpool, where there was a part in the movie where they're talking about body image or something, and then there's like this weird voiceover that pops up suddenly, and it goes like, by the way, Mattel, you might not want to cast Margot Robbie if you want this this message to get
Point to land.
across.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, fuck, shut up. But like, you just put that in there as a fail safe so people wouldn't talk about that on Twitter,
Exactly.
which they already
it's just to eliminate
did.
that. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
to eliminate that talking point.
It's like, if you really believe that, you would have cast someone else. Like,
they would have
you
stuck
don't.
to Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer was the one who originally was going to have
Right. Yeah. I did hear that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
Amy Schumer would have been a better like choice if you're trying to get those themes across, I guess, because Amy Schumer like isn't like, she's not a terrible looking person, she just I don't know, like that. I don't know. Fuck, Amy Schumer sucks though. Dude, her comedy is horrendous. It's abominable.
But but like you said, it's one of those things where like that's something else that I did not like about the experience I had with that film, which it was like you said, it was like putting like it was just like putting in front of, it was like putting defenses to criticism in the film. It's like, actually don't criticize us for this because we're going to acknowledge it here, but it's like you're acknowledging it but you're doing it, and and it sucks, and I don't want to hear this like fourth wall breaking BS that you're doing in order to like make your movie seem like it's like quote unquote like woke, and it's not, it's product placement.
Yeah.
The whole movie's product placement. It's trying to sell toys. Like, why are we trying to make this be some like holy like good thing? It's not,
Yeah.
Movie's not woke. If the movie had been woke, it would have been really just about plastic and plastic being bad instead of about all the BS that it was about.
Yeah. The fact that Godzilla -1 didn't get nominated for international feature film is ridiculous. I think it got nominated for visual effects.
Visual effects,
and it's like, what? Robbed. I know, it's like, why visual effects? Why? Just because there's a CGI creature in it, like for 10 minutes? I mean, what? It's like, I don't know. That is just so. It's like that nomination too is so dumb. It's like nominating something for visual effects just because it has visual effects in it, because I'm looking here, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Why?
Visual effects, yeah.
It's like they weren't that impressive. They're just standard. It's like, you want to nominate something, to me anyway, and again, it's like, who gives a shit what I think, but it's my fucking podcast, it's 100% mine, and Edward's my guest. No, but the like visual effects, like if I'm looking at visual effects nominations, I'm trying to find something that's unique, where it's like, okay, this brought something unique to the table, like Avatar, right? The original Avatar, something like that, where it's like, this is groundbreaking, not just because it has something with visual effects in it. Like I'm seeing here, The Creator. There was nothing in The Creator that was that impressive effects wise.
I guess it just falls. I feel like some categories fall within running joke for us too. I feel like some of these things fall within the plane of, there's just not enough of a pool to choose from, so we'll just choose from what there is.
That is true. Yeah, because I guess what's really revolutionizing visual effects on a yearly basis anyway.
Right. I feel like they peaked when like The Life of Pi came out, and they gave it to The Life of Pi. I feel like everything since then is just kind of been more of the same, and just being like, who did more of the same in like the most seamless way? That person, give it to that person.
Right. Yeah. Because if you think about it, I remember that Life of Pi. It's like that sort of brought prestige to that visual effects, category. Like that brought prestige to it, where it was like, okay, this means something. Winning this.
Yeah, and those poor people, they won the Oscar, and I think the visual effects company that did the visual effects for The Life of Pi, I think they went under like within a year of winning the Oscar. Yeah, poor folks.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
wild.
They did. They went on. Yeah.
Looking at the nominees here, I mean, let me see for Best Picture. What have I?
I haven't even seen.
For some reason,
anyway. I've seen Barbie and Oppenheimer. That's all I've seen. And to harp on Barbie a little bit more, or to not do it, or to not to rather. Barbie's an okay movie. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings.
It's not like, it's not abominable or anything. It's just not that good.
It's all right.
Why is Best Picture like hidden in here? It's not in alphabetical order. It's like hidden. Everything else is in alphabetical order except for fucking Best Picture.
It's like fine. It's just like, dude, you have to do Control F. Just find it.
Yeah.
The Best Picture.
Yeah, I'm a genius over here. Okay. So I have seen Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, Past Lives. Yeah, that's what I've seen out of these. So out of those, it's got to either be Anatomy of a. I don't know. That's tough. Those are all good.
You know that's not gonna win, man. You know that foreign films only win like once every 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Anatomy of a Fall doesn't deserve it because I mean that was fantastic, but it wasn't better than Oppenheimer. I gave them both 9s out of 10s, but
Anatomy of a Fall was lame.
You didn't even see it.
I know.
Oppenheimer is like a strong 9, where Anatomy of a Fall, I guess, is a softer 9.
I want
for
Oppenheimer
me
to win. Yeah, I'm with Oppenheimer. I think that was the best movie. That's the best movie I saw last year. I stand by it.
I really liked The Holdovers. The Holdovers was really fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I hear a lot of like positivity for that film. Like every review that I see for The Holdovers is just positive. The only person
so good
that I've seen, the only like movie critic I've seen like be shit on that movie was your movie sucks. Like YMS shit on that movie.
Really? What? That's
crazy.
But
YMS is he's hit or miss these days.
Your movie sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, he's hit or miss.
Yeah, the Holdovers I really liked because it felt like a new generation's even
Dead Poet Society, or like
Good Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society. It felt very much it had the same feel of Good Will Hunting to me. A very similar style, tone, and some similar kind of themes. Just a similar feel. It was a little less like rough and than Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting has more I guess like just kind of, is a little rougher around the edges, I guess. But yeah, The Holdovers just felt like that kind of movie for this generation. It was a period piece too. It took place, when did it take place? I think in like the 70s, I want to say. Can't remember. But yeah, that was great. That was great, man. I loved that. But yeah, Anatomy of a Fall was fantastic, but I would say it doesn't trump Oppenheimer or The Holdovers. I think Oppenheimer should be it. That's like the grand. That was like the grand spectacle of last year.
Is that your lock for Best Picture?
That's that would be my lock, I would say.
I am going to lock Barbie.
No, you think so?
With all my cynicism.
I don't think so. I think it's just a formality that they did that.
That they nominated it?
Yeah, because they didn't want to have the woke mob coming after them. Like, you didn't nominate this feminist film. Which, like, Anatomy of a Fall has a lot of feminist themes in it, and it's a much better movie.
That's the issue.
Where it's like, it has similar themes, but it's like, this is executed well, like themes again. Philosophical conflict is the most important part. That's the foundation, but you still have to build something good on the foundation. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's the issue, that it's like, for all intents and purposes and in all seriousness, when we're talking about film, Anatomy of a Fall probably is what you would say, like, this is an important film. The subject, the circumstances, the people who made this film, the passion behind it. But it's one of those situations where it's like, nobody's seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. But you get what I'm saying? Where it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, Anatomy of a Fall could win the Academy Award, and people would decry, like, oh, Barbie was robbed. When it's like, this is actually the movie that should win this,
right?
For these reasons, so it's so silly.
I know.
No, I think I'm gonna lock Oppenheimer for best film. Why don't we do? Let's go over all the nominations, even if we haven't seen all the movies.
Yeah. Let's
And
do
make
that.
make our best educated guesses.
Yeah, you read my mind. I wasn't sure if you were down for that. I was afraid to ask and that you'd shut me down on the podcast and everybody would hear you rejecting my proposal. Actor in a leading role. The only movie. Oh, Paul Giamatti or Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer. Yeah, because those are the two films I've seen in this category.
Yeah.
I
What are the
don't
rest of the
know.
nominations?
I don't. The thing is, like actors. Yeah, I don't know.
Like what are the
It's
rest
like
of the
when
nominations?
actors have been doing this for decades. It's like, yeah, of course they were great in it. It's like they've been doing this for a living for like 30 years.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
What are the rest of the nominations? Like let me hear like everybody's.
Bradley Cooper, Maestro,
That one.
Coleman Domingo, Rustin, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction.
I have to say it, man. I think it's Killian. I think I'm gonna put my money on him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I believe he is the person to win that. He's the person to win that. Like if he doesn't win, he's being robbed. Like he is the person to win that.
Yeah, American Fiction. I haven't seen. I don't remember seeing anything about this. Looks interesting. Okay, then we got actor in a supporting role: Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction; Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon; Robert Downey Jr.,
Mhm.
Oppenheimer; Ryan
Mhm.
Gosling, Barbie; Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things.
I know that there's like heavy favoritism for Mark Ruffalo right now.
Oh,
It's
really?
interesting that DiCaprio didn't get nominated. I haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, but it's interesting that he didn't get nominated.
Yeah, he
I
didn't.
don't
You're right.
I think without a shadow of a doubt, De Niro is not winning. De Niro is not walking out of there with
They've
an
had
Oscar.
enough of that old man.
They've had
Probably.
enough of that guy. He has like 4 Oscars. They're not giving him another one. But
That's all he has for. I would. It's like I would have guessed like 8 or something.
no, he's like amongst the people who have like the most. I think the person who has like the most, I think might be like Jack Nicholson or something.
Let's see
Um,
if you're right. Walt Disney. You're
but I
wrong,
mean, like
buddy.
as an actor, like
Oh,
as a
okay.
leading actor.
Oh, as an actor.
Come on, man. Like, wrong. You're an idiot.
Wrong. Yeah. I think you're right. I see Jack Nicholson's picture up here. What actor has the most Oscars? How many Oscars has Edward won?
20.
Katharine Hepburn. She has won 4 Best Actor Oscars over the course of her career, spanning her
I
whole
bet behind her is
lifetime
like
of
Meryl
roles.
Streep.
Yeah, I think I see her picture here.
Mm.
Because all these articles have these little pictures with them holding up their Oscars, all proud and
Yeah.
shit.
All happy. Yeah,
Hmm
like I did it.
Dude, Meryl Streep. Did
Mama,
you know
I
Meryl
did it.
Streep has a daughter that is an actor?
Yeah, I knew that.
She's in Mr. Robot, and she's great in
Really?
Mr.
Oh,
Robot.
good for
She
her.
was like my
She got the
favorite character.
genes.
Yeah, she was like my favorite character in that show. Um, besides the two main characters. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Back to the
I
initial
think
count.
Robert Downey Jr. probably. I would say.
I mean that guy was great, man.
Yeah.
He was great. Like every scene he was in, he carried that movie just as much as Cillian Murphy did. He's my pick for best supporting actor.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that De Niro is not going to win. So I know that. I know he's not going to win, and I know that Robert Downey Jr. This is probably like his. This is like his shot. Like I don't know if he will ever get another shot like as close as this one.
Has he hasn't won an Oscar?
No, he's only been nominated once for Chaplin in the '90s, I think it was, or
Oh,
in the early
interesting.
2000s.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Actress in a leading role. You got Annette Bening in Naiad. I don't know what that is. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Huller,
I
Anatomy of
think
a
she might win.
Fall. Carrie
Mm.
Mulligan, Maestro. Emma Stone, Poor Things. Emma Stone. Emma
Emma's.
Stone.
Look, man. I'm
I've
gonna
heard
make
so
my.
much about Poor
I know,
Things.
right? And she won. She won the Golden Globe for that performance. I'm going to go ahead again and make my not winning pick. I don't believe that. What's her name? I just said her name in Maestro.
Um, Carrie Mulligan. You don't think so?
She's not winning. She's not winning.
Okay.
I think it's between Emma Stone and it's between her and I'm like forgetting like the names I just read. My memory's done for. It's either her or another person. I forgot who the other person is.
Why don't you open this link? How about that?
Okay.
I'm gonna send you the link. Why don't you look at it too, Edward?
Yeah.
Slacking over here. You're like the kid in class. Like everybody have their books open. It's like Edward, pick up reading. Oh, what page are we on?
Yeah, that's literally what I'm doing right now. I have no idea, dude. Like the people whose names we read, I have no idea who you said.
I just had a flashback to this. I was in biology class in high school, and the teacher was going down and having us read each like section. So she'd be like 40 Jake, 41 Matthew, like I would read 41 Matthew would read 42, so on and so forth. And then she goes, there was this kid in the class named Mac, and he was I don't feel bad saying like he was like super, just because he was also an asshole from what I remember, and then he was also but he was super like, just I don't know, aloof or something. Yeah, I don't like to assume people are dumb or anything, but he was just very like not. I think things just went in one ear and out the other. And so she gets to him. She goes 52 Mac, and he goes, "What question are we on?" and then she just goes 52 Mac.
Yeah,
which I thought was a great way to handle that.
But with the Oscars, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it's either her or Emma Stone. I'm going to lock Emma Stone as my pick.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Lily Gladstone.
Okay. Actress in a supporting role. Yeah. Actress in a supporting role. Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer. Yeah, she's going to win. But then you got Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple. Oh, America Ferrera, Barbie. Jodie Foster, Naiad. Davine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. Who was she in The Holdovers? I think.
Yeah, what's your take on that? You've seen that movie, so I would go with whatever you say. I don't think Emily Blunt's gonna.
Oh yeah. I remember her character. Yeah. Oh, she was great in The Holdovers.
You think she has a shot?
I think she definitely has a shot. She was really good, man. I think her performance in The Holdovers, her performance was very moving in The Holdovers. So,
yeah.
You know what? Not only will I put it on Davine Joy Randolph, but I will root for Davine Joy Randolph here.
Nice, let's go.
I'm rooting. Yeah, that's it, man. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Davine, right?
Davine. This is what I'm going to say. I agree with you. I am going to lock Ms. Joy Randolph. It's not Davine or Divine, but I'm locking her in because I believe that Emily Blunt. She's not going to win. Okay. That's my take. She's not winning. She's the one where I'm like, she's not winning that. But I think Divine, I think she has a shot.
Yeah. No, she yeah, like I said, she moved me in that movie. Amazing. I love that movie, man. That was such a great. That was like just a great viewing experience.
Yeah.
Okay, we got animated feature film, The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I've only seen that one.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's the one that's winning.
You think that's what's going to win?
It's going to win.
Yeah, I could see that. I think so.
It's either that or Elemental, because the Elemental is the Disney like Pixar movie.
Oh yeah.
And then Spider-Verse is like the big, oh my god, and it won. Spider-Verse won like back in 2019 when it came out, the first one, this first Spider-Man movie. I think they're gonna give it to it again. It was such a big movie. It was like, I think it was like the third or fourth like highest grossing movie of last year. They're not gonna give it to Miyazaki. They're just not gonna do it. Miyazaki got one Oscar in his whole career, and I don't believe they're gonna give it to him. I do believe it's either. In fact, I'm gonna go out of my way to say that I lock that Miyazaki's not winning this Oscar, and that my luck for this is Spider-Verse. I believe Spider-Verse is gonna win.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. Let's see. Cinematography. So we got El Conde,
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, or Poor Things. Well, I can only speak for Oppenheimer and then trailers that I've seen for Killers of the Flower
Yeah,
Moon.
I've seen trailers for Flower Moon and for Poor Things.
I really haven't seen much in regards to Poor Things.
Yeah.
So Oppenheimer though. Oppenheimer was very just grand, and there was a lot of great visual stuff in that movie. I'm giving it to Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I am also giving to Oppenheimer. I think Hoyte van Hoytman, he's a great cinematographer. He's been working with Nolan for a bit now. I think he's shot like his past few movies. I think he's been working with him from what I believe. I think they've been working together since the war movie that he made. Not Tenet. Is that the name of it? No. You remember that war movie that he made, like the English war movie, Harry Styles in it?
You're thinking of Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, yeah. Mr. Van Hoytman, I think he's been working with him since then.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that it should go to him. He also shot Her with Spike Jonze. He's been around for a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
Robbie Ryan is a great cinematographer, highly underrated. He's been working a lot on like just not independent, but like more so like in the indie or like art house scene
Mm-hmm.
with like Andrea Arnold and those kind of filmmakers. And he's great, man. I haven't seen Poor Things, but he's great. It'd be great if he wins. Like I would not have any issue with any of these guys winning any of these because they're all incredibly talented. I mean, Rodrigo Prieto, he's been working now with Scorsese for a bit. I believe he shot The Irishman. But he also worked with Alejandro Iñárritu for a bit, and he shot like Babel and like Iñárritu's early films. Incredible cinematography. He also shot Barbie.
He shot.
Funnily enough,
Robbie Ryan shot American Honey. It looks like.
Yeah, he did, and yeah, he did great work in that film. And again, with Andrea Arnold, he worked with her in that movie.
It says I've watched this movie, but I don't think I have. I have not seen this. Why is this logged as watched? Oh, I think I was confusing this for Honey Boy.
Really?
Another Shia LaBeouf movie.
Another Shia LaBeouf movie.
So I got to mark. Okay, that one is marked. Okay, I think I was fucking up. Yeah, I have not. Yeah. I just added that to my watch list. American Honey.
As far as it goes for me, man, any of these folks nominated for cinematography could win. They're all incredible cinematographers. But I'm gonna put my money on Mr. Van Hoytman. I think he'll get it.
Cool. Yeah, I think so too. Costume design. We got Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I could see Barbie winning this one.
I could see Barbie winning this one. I mean, I don't have an issue with that at all.
No,
that would be a nice Oscar for that movie to get.
Yeah. There were things about the Barbie movie that I liked too. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
You know, I enjoyed. It's a good movie for to watch. Like, I watched it with my mom, my sisters. Like, it's a there were things about it that I really liked. And
I don't think Oppenheimer is going to win. I wasn't blown away by that movie and what they did. I think it's honestly, I think it's between Barbie and like Napoleon or Poor Things.
Yeah. Napoleon's on Apple TV now. I got to watch that, but I know my dad really wants to watch it, and I'm going home in like 2 weeks, so I'm just holding out for that. I think to watch.
No, man, I might match you. I might match you. If you tell me like, remember that I watched this, let me fucking.
Yeah.
Napoleon.
Yeah, man, come down if you want.
But where are we at?
Directing. So we got Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
It has to be Oppenheimer. Like, this has to be it.
Yeah.
I think this is Nolan's trophy. Like, he should win that. It's not going to go to Martin.
Has Nolan won an Oscar? No,
not one.
Okay, interesting.
I think this is his, man. Like, this is his time to shine. It's either him. Honestly, it's either him or I don't know, Yorgos. In terms of like who I think might win, I don't think Scorsese is going to win. I think Scorsese is just a formality. Like, oh, he made a movie that's nominated.
Right. Of course. Yeah, you can't not nominate Scorsese. Like, I still got to watch The Lobster, because I did see Killing of a Sacred Deer by Yorgos. But I have not seen The Lobster. I want to watch that.
I think I've seen all his movies at this point.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's the one that I really want to watch is The Lobster. I like that concept.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Um, and then documentary feature film. I haven't seen any
I've
of
not
these.
seen any of these.
I have.
No,
I can't.
I have no say. I can't say.
To Kill a Tiger. What's that? To Kill a Tiger. What is this? Is this about tigers? Actually, probably not. Indian farmer
Maybe.
Ranjit takes on the fight of his life when he demands justice for his 13-year-old daughter, the victim of a brutal gang rape. His decision to support his daughter is virtually unheard of, and his journey unprecedented. Wow, that sounds
Rough.
devastating and
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. One to watch for sure.
I'm gonna add this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add this to my list here. Wow, holy shit, can't even imagine. That's what dude, um, Cain Velasquez, the UFC fighter. He's the guy who
Mhm.
took the world championship off of Brock Lesnar back in like 2010, and he just
Mhm.
he's facing an attempted murder charge right now because someone was I think touching his kid, and he
Mhm.
tried and failed to kill them.
Well, if that was true and that person was doing that, I hope he gets released and people pat him on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Holy shit. I mean, good on him. Sometimes you know, it's like sometimes it's principles over law, I
Yeah.
guess.
Especially when the justice system fails people so
Yeah.
often.
Yep. But that sounds great. I just put that on my watch list. So documentary short film. I haven't seen anything. We don't need to go through
I
that.
have nothing to say about that either.
Film editing. We got Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers,
Mhm.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Man, quite a pattern here.
Yeah, you've seen three of these movies, so I feel like you have like a more educated guess than I do. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Oppenheimer. I think Jennifer Lame. I think her editing was not lame at all.
Yeah, Jennifer Lame, you're right.
You
Um,
go, Jennifer. Get that Oscar.
yes, I would agree because I don't. I have to admit, I'm not someone who pays that much attention to editing. It's definitely, um, I don't know. Of course, everyone pays attention to it insofar as your experience, and it's feeding. You're paying attention to it whether you like it or not. But just
Right.
consciously, I'm not an editor. I have edited lots and lots of short films. I enjoy editing actually.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fun.
yeah, it is. It's very fun to make movie magic like that. Um but yeah, I will say Oppenheimer as well because Nolan's films actually Nolan's style is a style called intercutting.
Hmm.
Which obviously you know this, but for people listening,
Yeah.
where that's a hallmark of Nolan's style. The whole
Hmm.
all of Dunkirk is just one big
It's
intercut.
intercutting.
And
Yeah.
it's just when a bunch of scenes, Star Wars is very well known for it as well. Like most big action movies are known for it. When you have like a big cast of characters, and instead of focusing on one scene the whole time, you're bouncing back between scenes, and that's a very noticeable hallmark of Nolan's films. And
Hmm.
that takes a lot of that takes very meticulous editing because
Very
you got to know,
meticulous.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got to know exactly. You're editing because now you're not editing one scene, you're editing multiple scenes, figuring out where to pause on this scene and jump over to this scene and then jump back to that scene. So yeah, I would say probably most deserving is Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Although
I
I
would
will
think so.
say Thelma Schoonmaker of Killers of the Flower Moon had probably the most work to do, considering that was like a 3.5 hour movie.
Yeah,
So
right.
maybe that one, but I'll give
Yeah.
it to Oppenheimer. International feature film Godzilla minus one. I don't care about these other ones
Yeah, right.
that should have been
Just like
nominated.
put it on there.
I haven't seen any of these. I
There's a
don't think.
Japanese movie nominated. You know what the issue is? And I am not 100% sure that I'm right with this, but I believe that a country is only like they can only have one film eligible that they can submit to the Academy and be like, this is our film from our country that we're submitting for
Oh, you're
representation.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's
And I
true.
believe that I guess they did that with the movie Perfect Days.
Mm,
And they chose not to go with -1. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure.
gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have anything to say here. I don't know any of these movies.
I don't know any of these movies.
Weird because Anatomy of a Fall was a foreign film, but it's just getting nominated for all the regular.
Yeah, right.
Foreign language, so maybe it was made with an American production crew. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's odd. Because I didn't think it'd be eligible for all of these awards that it's been nominated for, but maybe I just don't know how that works.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that they just stacked all the international feature films together, or maybe because maybe they made like a decision with that film, and they were like, because we've nominated it for so many other stuff, let's not put it in the international feature film. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, this podcast would be so much better if we just had no life and like knew all of this stuff and
we just knew all these movies. Actually,
actually,
I do what I can. We obviously we have some film knowledge, and it comes out every now and then.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of damn movies, but it's been over the course of 25 and 26 years, respectively. So, I would say we got a pretty good. The thing is, there's just an endless amount of art, and you just can't get to it all. Like, no matter how much. I mean, I spend. Dude, I spend a lot of time consuming art. I watch, at least a film a week for the podcast. Usually, two movies a week. Generally speaking, I listen to music all the time, like while I'm working from home and in the car, and exercising. I'm always reading novels because I write, so I need to stay sharp there. It's like there's just so much art, and there's just not enough time to cram it all.
No,
there's always going to be stuff you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Makeup and hairstyling. You got Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Society of the Snow.
I'm gonna say Poor Things.
Okay.
I've seen enough for that movie to feel like they have like a really impressive thing going, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Was Society of the Snow the one where they have a plane crash? Yeah, I think it is.
I think so. Yeah.
I almost watched that, but it was like between that and something else, and I was like visiting my family. We almost watched that movie, but I kind of want to see that still. Okay, music original score. We got American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, bro.
What, for an orchestra recreating?
Gotta get John Williams in there.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I mean,
I'm gonna go Oppenheimer with this one.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've seen, and I was very impressed with the music for it, so I'm gonna go with that.
It was so good. I could still like hear it in my head.
Yeah, right.
I'm picturing the scene where they detonate the first ever atom bomb or whatever. And, oh my god, that was the most like chew your fingers to the bone, nail biting scene. Ever.
with the chances of it going wrong.
Yeah. It's like that, between that and then the final confrontation with Godzilla in -1. Like, those were the two scenes of 2023, the two movie scenes where I was just like, just edge of my seat, like heart beating out of my chest. Like, oh my god, holy fuck, just tell me what happens. Okay, music original song. We got The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot, I'm Just Ken from Barbie. It Never Went Away, American Symphony. Wazaze from Killers of the Flower Moon. I really hope I said that right. What Was I Made For, also from Barbie.
I think my lock in this is that Barbie's gonna win this. Yeah. It's not gonna be any of the other ones. Barbie's gonna win one of these. I believe. Like, my luck is that it's gonna go to the Billie Eilish song. Yeah. But what I would hope is that I just can't win it.
Just so we could see the fallout from that.
Right. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
What would Ryan Gosling even say at that point?
I know.
Just apologize for accepting the trophy.
At this point, because the woke
come up here with me, come accept the trophy.
Yeah, the woke mob is just like a parody of themselves these days, where it's just like. It's like you can just do anything. It's like they're like wind up toys where it's just like wind it up and watch it react. Yeah. It's like it's just become a parody at this point.
But one of those Barbie songs is gonna win, and I
Yeah.
think it would be the most hilarious if the Just Ken one wins.
I'm pulling for the Ken one, yeah, just to see the explosion.
The fallout.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get so the people's opinions like all over the place are just getting really tiresome. It's just one big just chamber of people shouting and no one listening to each other.
Yeah.
That's all social
Yeah.
media is now. Like I to go on like a side note here, I was in a
Side
yeah, it's like yeah, that should be like a sound. We should have a soundboard and there's a button that's like side tangent. Keeps track of the threads.
Yeah.
But like one thing I've noticed is I'm in horror fan club. I'm in like a horror fan club on Facebook. I'm in a Godzilla fan club on Facebook. And one thing I've noticed is that those groups ain't that fun. And the reason is because no one actually wants to have a dialogue. People just make a post and then people in the comments are like, "Well, I think X." And it's
Right.
like nobody, and you know what I did? I was like, let me try this. A guy put in the Godzilla fan club, like, my favorite Godzilla movie is this. And instead of going in there like everybody else and being like, my favorite is this, or that one
Yeah.
stinks, or yeah, that one's good, I went in and said, interesting. What makes you choose this one?
Right.
It's like those are the kinds of conversations we need to be having. And then we
Starting
had
a
a
dialogue.
we had a dialogue about it. It was we had
Mhm.
an interesting conversation about it, you know,
Yeah.
because I was genuinely curious. It's like let's like listen more, but it's not going to
Right.
happen. That's all it
No.
is. It's like social media is just one big auditorium with everyone wearing earmuffs and just
And just
shouting.
shouting.
Yeah.
Yeah, just shouting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Okay, best picture. I think we
This
already said
picture.
Oppenheimer, right?
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's got to be Oppenheimer.
If anything, if my pick for the movie that is definitely 100% not going to win, it's Maestro by Bradley Cooper.
Was that directed by Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, he directed it.
Maestro.
It's like his follow-up because he directed, what was it? A Star is Born, and this is like his new movie since then.
Good for him, man. And then we're almost done here, folks. We got
Yeah.
production design, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I would say I haven't seen Napoleon, but Napoleon I
Mm-mm.
could see being in the running.
Mm-mm.
Barbie I
Killers of
could
the Flower Moon
see.
definitely in the running. Yeah,
Barbie,
Barbie
that
definitely.
that's something you can say, but Barbie had great production
It had
design.
pretty good production design. Yeah, so
Fantastic production design.
they could give it to that, or they could. Honestly, man, I'm gonna say that I think it's between Barbie and Killers of the Flower Moon,
Okay.
and I think Napoleon is for a fact not winning.
You don't think so? Why?
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen it, but it just feels like the competition is too heavy
Yeah.
for it to actually have a chance for a movie that wasn't impactful. You know.
Right.
I think if Barbie doesn't win, Killers of the Flower Moon wins, and if they don't win, then Oppenheimer wins, and if Oppenheimer doesn't win, then Poor Things wins. It's like Napoleon is like last. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's not going to win. I think it's Barbie or or Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, but
Oppenheimer. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I know Jack Fisk did the production design for that film, and I believe he also was the one who did the design for There Will Be Blood. So I know the pedigree there. So I'm kind of putting my vote on that, but I think it's between that and Barbie.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I was honestly, dude, Barbie. I was impressed with the production design in that movie. I was
Yeah,
impressed. That was probably the best part of the movie. It was just
yeah.
the visuals. It reminded me of the Cat in the Hat movie from like the 2000s.
Oh, 100%.
Animated short. I don't watch short films, to be honest with you. Live action short.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no horse here.
Once in a while I'll watch like a horror short film because someone will be like, this is a scary short film, but that's about it. I don't really watch shorts. Sound. We got the creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Zone of Interest.
Oppenheimer, it
Yeah.
has to be.
Holy
I
shit,
have
yeah.
no other. I haven't seen anything else, but Oppenheimer was immaculate.
Mhm.
So Oppenheimer it is for me.
Yeah, I saw the creator with surround sound on, and obviously Oppenheimer in the theater. The
Yeah,
creator I do recall the creator having some solid sound design, but I would say Oppenheimer. It's got to go to
I think
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer's gonna kill it. Like all these like technical things, I think it definitely is going to just kill it with those categories.
Yeah, absolutely. Visual effects. The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible, or Napoleon.
Godzilla, baby, let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm pulling for Godzilla,
I'm
obviously.
pulling for Godzilla. That's my luck. There it is.
Yeah, because I've seen 3 out of the 5 of these movies on the
Mhm.
because I mean Godzilla -1, it's like the visual effects weren't even the draw of that movie. They were
No.
good though, dude. I mean that scene, the boat scene where Godzilla's chasing the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
No, they were
great.
great. Even if that wasn't the draw of the film, they were great.
Yeah.
And I think they should win something for that movie.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Godzilla wins the Academy Award. Has Godzilla
That'd be
won an
awesome.
Academy Award? I don't think so.
Who knows?
Godzilla.
But I do for my pick of film that will not win this, I'm gonna go with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Wait, say again?
That's the movie that I don't think it's gonna win. Guardians, I
No,
don't think it's gonna get
no,
it.
no. It's just some Marvel CG. Um.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Godzilla has never before rubbed elbows at the Academy Awards. Is how this article puts it.
Huh.
Yeah. So no, I didn't think so.
Well, hopefully this is it. Hopefully this is after what, 60, 70 years, hopefully this is the one.
Yeah, about 60 years exactly, actually, because 70, 1954. So yeah, 70 years.
So I said
That's an
60, 70, man.
almost century old character. That's an almost century
Yeah,
old film franchise. That's
yeah.
incredible that
Oh
we're still
boy.
making those.
Yeah.
It's awesome though. But yeah, Godzilla, dude, he's like one of the kings of
He's
cinema. Like he's got
he's
to win an
evergreen,
Academy
man.
Award. Yeah,
He's an evergreen boy.
he is. Okay, writing, adapted screenplay. All right, we got 2 more categories here, folks, and then
Yeah,
we'll switch gears.
that's it. Our
Writing,
predictions.
adapted screenplay. You got American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I mean, I gotta say Oppenheimer, but um, I could see them picking.
I could see them picking Barbie, honestly.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
them picking Poor Things though, just from what I've heard about that movie.
Yeah, that movie has had there's been a lot of praise. I know for a fact that the Zone of Interest is not gonna
You
win.
don't think so? What is that? The
No,
Zone
I
of
don't think so.
Interest. What is that?
That's by Jonathan Glazer. It's by the same. He's the guy who made that movie with Scarlett Johansson. Forget the name of it. Where she's like an alien. I forget the name of that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Under the Skin. Yeah,
Mhm.
he did that.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
But I don't think he's winning anything. Maybe one
gotcha.
thing. Who knows? But I don't think he's winning this. I think it's between like Oppenheimer and Barbie, honestly, or Poor Things. But I'm gonna put my luck here, and I
Yeah,
think Barbie's gonna win.
yeah. And I just haven't heard enough about American Fiction, enough buzz
Yeah,
to
neither have I.
to merit me thinking that that might win. But who knows?
Yeah, because I think from their perspective, I think they're gonna want Greta to walk out with something. Um, I don't believe it's gonna be Best Picture. It might. Who knows? Because
Hmm.
she's nominated for that and she's nominated for this.
Hmm.
And I think I think they might give her the writing award. And I'm fine with that. I think that's my lock for adapted screenplay.
Gotcha. Writing original screenplay. This is the last one. Anatomy of
I've
a
not seen any of these.
None. Oh, okay. Anatomy of a Fall, The
Yeah.
Holdovers, Maestro, May December, Past Lives. Hmm. I think The Holdovers is probably going to win that
I'm
one.
gonna put it on the holdovers.
Yeah,
That's my pick. That's my
The
pick.
Holdovers was a fantastic screenplay. Yeah, I don't. Past Lives, I thought was a great screenplay as well,
Mhm.
and Past Lives is very powerful. But I haven't. I feel like maybe the buzz has worn off surrounding that movie, but I don't know. For me, because I've seen 3 out of these 5, and
Mhm.
I would say The Holdovers had the best screenplay out of these 5. Yeah,
I'm sticking with you. I'm going for the holdovers.
yeah,
If that's what you're going for, but that is what I'm going for.
yeah. I would say The Holdovers had the best screenplay. My sister would say Past Life. She loves that movie. So
Yeah,
I
I
know
have to check it
that's
out.
probably my sister's lock. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
my pick for the movie that is definitely 100% not winning this, it's Maestro. I know it sounds like I'm picking on Maestro because I think every category that has been nominated, I've been like Maestro's not winning.
Yeah.
But that's, dude, I 100% believe, 100% that Bradley Cooper is walking out of that theater with no awards. None. Not a
Yeah.
single. Not a
I'm
single
like
one.
picturing him looking the way he does in that. I haven't seen that movie, but I've seen images from it in Limitless where his hair's all messy and stuff,
I've
and
seen them
like
in
that's how he walks out of the Oscars, just like that, like
Look,
defeated.
man, it would be so hilarious because he, from what I understand, but not from what I understand, this is real. This is a fact. He apparently had been preparing himself for the role of the Maestro in the movie Maestro from what I understand, and I think this is actually a fact,
And this is
um,
true, folks.
for like 7 years.
7
For
years.
7 years.
Holy shit!
7 years of his career, he's been like practicing for this role. He
Wow.
learned how to actually be like a maestro of an orchestra and how to conduct. Apparently, everything about his character's performance is pitch perfect, like accurate.
Really?
He does everything. And that's been like a big part of his like award campaign. And he has continued to lose to Cillian Murphy, whom I wish will put the cap on this award season, and win the Oscar, which is the last award of the season.
Yeah.
I wish for Cillian Murphy to just devastate him and just take the Oscar. And I also wish for Maestro to have no awards at the end of that ceremony.
Oh man! Wow. Dude, you know what? You know what Bradley Cooper should have won an Oscar for
It would
was
be hilarious.
you know what he should have won an Oscar for was best supporting role in Guardians of the Galaxy as Rocket Raccoon, man.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm kidding. He actually, dude, that because Guardians 3 is more centered around Rocket.
So I hear.
Yeah, it was pretty pretty good stuff, man. That was like
Yeah, I gotta
I
check
didn't
it
think
out.
I thought the movie was kind of average, but
Yeah.
there were the best parts were surrounding Rocket
I
Raccoon.
gotta check it out because
Pretty emotional.
I have like I have it in my heart for those movies. I
Mhm.
really like the Guardians movies.
Yeah.
I think the second one's the best one. I have fond memories of each one of those films. Watched the first one, I believe, with my brother and my cousin.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I just watched the third one and end that trilogy.
Yeah, I watched it with my family when I was visiting them, like a month ago, and I had this feeling, this really sentimental feeling when the credits hit, because I mean it's the last Guardians movie, I think,
Yeah.
pretty much, until Marvel needs more money or something, and I had this very just sentimental kind of nostalgic feeling wash over me because I realized like we went as a family to see
Mhm.
the first one 10 years
Mhm.
ago. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's wild. 10 years later, and we're watching. It was like it was surreal. And I was like, wow, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jot this down as a pee break. I gotta go pee. Let's see. Well, on the topic of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I had an interesting question here for you that I have an answer to, but I want to hear your answer first. Is there a character in the MCU that if they brought a character into the MCU would garner some sort of interest for you again with the Marvel movies?
That's a very interesting
My
question.
interest has always been very limited with Marvel, even at their kind of peak. Like my interest in the MCU, I've never been even like a big fan. I've always been more just casual. Like
The only thing that there is, and they're already doing this, is the Fantastic Four. Like I want to see Doom. That's really it.
Yep, that was my answer. Doctor Doom.
Yeah, like
Doctor Doom.
that's my feeling. Like, because at this point they've kind of burned through so much material,
Yeah.
from Iron Man to Thor, Spider-Man. It's like all these things they've already kind of addressed all these characters, and they even brought in characters that nobody even cared for, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody cared. Nobody knew
Yeah.
what those guys were.
Mhm.
and like Black Widow, and like so it's one of those things where literally for me the only thing that would make me have any sort of interest, and again they're already doing it, and that I would be like I'm gonna go out and see this is literally the Fantastic Four and seeing like a Doctor Doom and Screen,
Yeah.
and honestly, other than that, it would just be giving like Sam Raimi like Spider-Man again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, because unfortunately, that's part of the MCU now instead of its
Yeah.
own thing. Oh, dude, you know what we haven't talked about too is Madam Web. We haven't seen that, obviously, but
We haven't seen that, no.
I
I hear that's hilarious.
yeah, we got, dude. We gotta
Hilariously
get,
bad.
we gotta get fucked up and watch Madam Web. We've been saying that about Morbius too, but I think Madam
Yeah,
Web might be trumping Morbius.
Yeah, because this is what I've heard.
Plus,
I'd
let me just say too, I'd much rather look at Dakota Johnson for 2 hours than Jared Leto.
than Jared Leto.
Like, jeez.
I've heard that Porvius. I've heard that Morbius is. I've heard that Morbius is actually not that fun to watch. Like I've heard that Morbius is just like plain, just bad.
Yeah. Just not even
but
bad in a fun way.
No, just bad. But from Madam Web, I hear that it's actually like quite hilarious, like bad in like a really funny way.
That's what I've heard too.
So that I think that really does trump Morbius. We've had a handful of movies that we've talked about, like because I know that I wanted to rewatch Infinity War, and we talked about like I think we were watching The Departed.
The Departed.
So there's a handful of movies that I know that we want to rewatch, but
yeah. The Departed would make for a good commentary for this season. I've been thinking about some potential commentaries we could do. You haven't selected a commentary yet, sir.
No, I know, because the thing that I want to do, spoilers for the audience, the commentary that I want to do, and actually kind of soon-ish, since WrestleMania is coming up soon. I want us to watch like a wrestling match.
Oh yeah, like a long Iron Man match or something.
Yeah,
that would be good. Yeah, I've thought of that too. I think we have it in our little master document of shit we want to do, where we also insult each other in it in the document, so the other person sees it the next time he opens it. But no, that would be a good one to do. It'd be fun too is like a because no one's ever done this before, but like a Twitch kind of like a game stream thing where we play a game.
Oh, dude, I love that.
But like a game from our childhood that we love or something. That'd be fun.
Because you know that for the longest, and I'm still subscribed to them too. Game Grumps. I love watching people play video games and just talk nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're one of the 15 people that listens to this podcast, go down in the comments, tell us, what you want us to review, what you want us to do a commentary on, what you want
absolutely.
us to, interesting ideas. If you want us to just come on and just say, fuck movies for 2 hours, let us know. Yeah.
Let us know. Truly, like leave us comments, like tell us, like, hey guys, watch, this or that movie, we'll watch it, 100%.
Exactly. And the worst thing we can say, is no.
Exactly. And you guys are free to interact with us however you want in the comment section. Just don't be too mean. Jake is sensitive.
Yeah. The worst thing exactly. Just give it a shot. The worst thing we could say is like no or fuck off, go away.
We call them out.
Things like that.
In that episode comment section, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I feel like some
go away.
When stuff like that happens.
But no, we'll be nice. We'll be nice if you're nice. Madam Web. That would be fun. That'd be a fun one. I think that trumps Morbius. What are your thoughts on, to stay on, I guess, the Sonyverse topic? Because I think the Sonyverse is interesting because it's such an interesting kind of failure in terms of like it's like the third wheel of the superhero
just
shared universes.
The Sony universe is just tax write-offs. Like, we have to keep this character. Let's make a movie.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and I've heard there's like scrapped movies too, where they like movie companies are scrapping films now as like a tax write-off. So like they'll make a movie but then not release it. Like there's some kind of Wile E. Coyote movie.
The Wile E. Coyote movie, and you know what the funny thing is, that the script or like the beat by beat like breakdown of the film leaked. It's online.
Really interesting.
Yeah, because that's one of those movies where it's now been widely recognized that they did that. They just made the movie just to write off taxes, and they scrapped it. And they said that I think Warner Bros. I think they said that they intend to never release that film. I have no idea what the hell's going on with that.
That's
Like
so
John Cena,
weird.
like John Cena was like one of the executives or like a producer on that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew it was someone like that, someone
Yeah.
famous. Yeah, what the hell's up with that? So do they not get the tax write off if they release it or something, or what's the
I
deal?
guess
How
they
does that even
don't.
work?
No, I think it has to be something along the lines of like, I guess for them it has to be like, oh, we made an investment on something, and we didn't make any profit, and so you just it's what it is. So we don't take our money kind of
Yeah.
situation.
It's like,
And I think if they
oops.
release it, yeah, if they release it and they're saying that they're like, we made this and we're making profit off of this, so this is not a tax write-off. I think it's one of those things.
It's like the IRS is just like, "Hey, you there, stop making a movie you're not going to release. Stop.
Or yeah.
Yeah, put down the camera. Put down the camera. Stop
We're
filming the
gonna
coyote."
we're gonna be forced to tax you.
Yeah. Oh, that is so stupid, man. That's
I
lame.
know, man.
I would
But
look, dude, a
that's
Wile E. Coyote movie. Are you kidding me, man? That'd be so much
yeah.
fun.
I'd love to see that.
Wile E.
Yeah.
It's Wile E. Coyote versus Coyote versus Acme. That's hilarious because Acme was the company that he would get all the shit to kill Roadrunner with that would always
Mhm.
backfire on him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is the premise. After every product made by the Acme Corporation has backfired on Wile E. Coyote in his pursuit of the Roadrunner, a down and out billboard human attorney represents Wile E. in his lawsuit to sue Acme. A
That's
growing
a great
friend a
premise.
growing friendship between Wile E. Coyote and his lawyer motivates their determination to win the court case as it pits them against the intimidating boss of Wiley's lawyer's former law firm, who now represents Acme. That's dude,
It's a
and
great
John
premise.
Cena's the lawyer, or
Yeah,
he's the Acme Corporation's lawyer, so
I
he's the
see.
bad
That's a
guy.
great premise.
Yeah, come on, release that.
Yeah, release that movie. Let Wiley free. Let him be.
Warner Brothers is like, okay, sure, just because you asked, here you go.
Film Tangent said that we should do this. Let's do it.
Yeah,
It's a guaranteed success.
yeah, we're the voice of the film critic community. We're the
More
real.
than worth.
Yeah,
More than worth not having that tax write-off.
yeah, exactly.
Mm. Well, seemingly the voice of the film critic community these days is the drinker, the critical drinker.
A drinker. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Stuckman has fallen off his pedestal after that questionable Madame Web video that everybody just roasted him for.
Yeah, because he's trying to get into the industry, I guess. So he doesn't.
They're calling him a sellout.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't believe. First of all, I don't believe selling out is always a bad thing. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you can call. There's a lot of scenarios where people have been called sellouts, where I'm like, that was actually. It's like you could call it objectively selling out, but
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, but I would do the same thing in their position, kind of thing. I don't even know if this qualifies as selling out because it's like, no, the guy wants to go make films, so he's
Mhm.
not shitting on the industry that he wants to be in,
Right.
um, which is smart. But yeah, he has. Actually, that's funny. I had that on my list of topics too. Was he has a film coming out? I think it's a horror movie,
Really.
which would be great because and I don't know
That's
what
the
his
way.
skill is
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, but he made a great video a long time ago that maybe you've seen, the problem with horror movies
I
today.
have. Yeah, so he
So
understands horror film.
yeah, so he at least understands like what makes a good or bad horror film. So if
Mhm.
then his filmmaking skills are up to par, then
It could translate into
this
a
really
decent
could
movie.
be a
Yeah.
good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shelby Oaks. A woman's desperate search for her long-lost sister falls into obsession upon realizing that the imaginary demon from their childhood may have been real. Wow. I mean, it sounds pretty par for the course, but
Written and directed by Chris Stuckman.
that sounds just like Where's Rose by our
Yeah.
former classmate, our fellow
Yeah.
alum.
Yeah.
It sounds like the same plot.
Yeah. Very generic, like horror plot, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, movies, man, movies. But yeah, so I'll be interested in that. Chris
Yeah,
Stuckman,
well,
Mr.
we should definitely watch that and put
Chris
some money on
Stuckman's movie.
our boy Chris pocket, and then
I'm rooting for
we can
him.
review it.
I'm rooting for him, man.
You know the whole YouTube like movie reviewing. All of those guys are going to be reviewing this. You just know it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's gonna be waiting. I feel like the critical drinker is gonna be salivating. Like,
Oh dude. Oh yeah. Drinker's
let that movie
chopping at
come
the.
out.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
He's
dude.
chopping at the bit.
Oh
Please,
yeah.
please, Chris, release the film. Yeah, man.
He just holds it for 20 years. He like waits for the drinker to die. It's like once he dies, I'll release the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I must kill him. Let's see. Well, we could either go into our recaps, or we could do a quick, before we do that, we could do a quick fictional face off here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it like a lightning round.
Yeah, let's do the lightning round. All right, the first one, you'll be able to speak to this better. I got Goku from Dragon Ball Z versus Dragon Ball
Goku.
versus Thor from the Marvel universe.
Goku all the way. Like Goku is. I mean, it's Goku. It's Goku.
Okay.
Like all that Thor has is that he's like, I don't know what.
He's got a hammer.
Has that hammer?
Yeah,
he has a hammer. He has some thundery stuff, but it's like Goku. When Goku goes into Super Saiyan 2, he can manipulate like electricity because his body starts like just like manifesting electricity. I don't think electricity is gonna be like I don't think that's gonna be an effective weapon against Goku. And Goku himself, he can go into Super Saiyan God, so he himself is also a god. So it's like I don't think Thor's godhood is gonna help him either.
Yeah.
So in terms of like sheer strength, resistance, and like durability, and like just sheer power and ability to manifest like power, I got my money on Goku 100%.
Yeah, I'm really overdue on watching Dragon. I've never seen an ounce of Dragon Ball. I've seen like clips. I've never watched a full episode of Dragon Ball. Just wasn't something I grew up with, because I don't remember what channel it was on. Even was it on Toon Disney or something? No,
it was like
that was Digimon. They had Digimon.
Yeah, no, it was like they had it. I know 4Kids. They did like the dubbing to English. I think it was like on Nickelodeon or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what channel had it. I never watched it. But I kind of want to just see what it's all about. Watch a few episodes at least, because I feel like uncultured. Not that I haven't seen like most things under the sun, but okay, you'll like this one, dude. I got Barry Eagan from Punch Drunk Love versus Happy Gilmore. Dude, who you got?
I have Barry Eagan.
You think so? Why do you have Barry Eagan?
Barry Eagan. Only because Happy is like,
because they both use golf clubs, by the way.
Yeah.
To hit
but
people.
Happy is all talk. Like Happy is like more so like just yelling and screaming, and Happy can go against like a guy who doesn't really have like much else or a lot of power or experience. Because you have to remember that in Happy Gilmore, that old guy beats him up. Like in his own movie, he gets beat up by an old gentleman, by like a guy like, you know, like a 60, 70-year-old guy.
Does he? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he beats his ass, dude. He like beats him up. So I have my money on Barry.
Yeah.
Barry showed huge strength, capabilities, took on 3 guys at the same time.
Yeah, he beat up all of those loan shark dudes.
Happy could not take on one old guy, so I got Barry Eagan.
Great point. It'd be a golf club duel, and Barry Eagan would just clean house, fucking decapitate Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
he'd become sad Gilmore. And then, dude, okay, this is one for the ages. I think I'll just make this the last one. I have more here, but I'll make this the last one because we can't top.
I have to think of some Barry Eagan versus that was the best one.
Yeah, you got to admit that was like that was kind of clever. That took some ingenuity on my part.
That was a great. I
got to give myself. Thank you. I'm glad you recognized for that. But you'll really appreciate this one. So this is sort of part of our rodent tournament. you could say.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, so to give you guys
Remy versus Stuart.
dude, this is the tournament, right? Because we both said Stuart would whoop Remy, right? Or no? No?
I had Remy. Remy's a rat. That was my whole point. Remy's a rat. Stuart Little's a little mouse.
That's true.
I had
That's
Remy.
true. All right,
But
let's
like a
pretend that
fight. I had Remy.
Okay, well, let's pretend that Remy got disqualified because he was sniffing cocaine off Linguini's ass. And and so Stuart progressed to the finals.
Okay.
So then on the other bracket, we had Scrat versus Alvin and the Chipmunks. Scrat from Ice Age versus Alvin,
That's right.
the titular Alvin and the Chipmunks. And we said Scrat would just go in a fucking tornado mode and fuck up those chipmunks, dude. Because those chipmunks, you said it yourself, they're city boys. They're city boys.
They're city boys.
Yeah, they're city boys. They sit around singing.
They wear hoodies and sweaters and singing. Yeah, they don't have it in them. They don't have the dog in them.
Yeah, they don't have the fight. Oh yeah, but Scrat's out there, man. He's in the Ice Age. He's fighting for that acorn, man. He's going ham for that acorn, dude. Attacks a full-grown ass sloth for his acorn. He kicks Sid's ass. He beats the shit out of Sid. Sid's like, oh, an acorn. And Scrat whoops him up and down the fucking hill. Yeah. So Scrat all the way. The chipmunks are sitting around. Dude, freaking Theodore. They're sitting around eating peanuts at Dave's house or Ian, depending on who's kidnapping them.
They're
in the film,
man. They have girlfriends. They're too comfortable.
Dude,
they're
Scrat
not winning.
Yeah, Scrat would like take Alvin and Simon's heads and just smash them together like 10 times. And then Theodore would like be begging for his life, and Scrat would just finish him with those teeth, dude.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me, man. So you got Scrat versus Stuart, man. Scrat versus Stuart Little.
Look, this is mine.
Well, we can do Scrat versus Remy too. Wait, triple threat.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so this is my thing. This is my thing. Remy's revenge. I just don't think Stuart Little has it, man. Because Stuart Little, he's just like he's a smart little mouse, you know. But like Alvin and the Chipmunks, he's just a city mouse. He has a family.
You're right.
He's like he's castrated. Like he's he's domesticated. You know.
Yeah. That's a deleted scene from Stuart Little 2. Falcon castrates him with his talons.
And he's always just like barely outdoing that Falcon with his smarts, you know. But I think the truth of the matter is that when it all comes down to the facts, when it all comes down to hands, and being like, man, you gotta throw hands. You know, these guys gonna fight you. You're gonna have to fight him.
Yeah.
You know. I don't think Stuart Little has it in him.
No.
I don't think he has it in him.
Well, no, not if it's just hands. Like if he can't use any machinery or something, like hell no. Dude.
And honestly, man, I even think that if you give him that, if you go like, you can use some like weapon or some machinery, I still think Scrat bodies him.
You think Scrat would just tear up that shit? Yeah, because he beat up Sid.
I think Scrat bodies him. I think Stuart Little might have a shot against Remy with weapons and like with preparation.
Yeah.
But I think Scrat bodies Stuart Little. And with that being said,
so Stuart's eliminated. Now it's Scrat and Remy.
Stuart's eliminated. So this all comes down to Scrat and Remy, man. Remy's a rat, man.
And Scrat's a squirrel rat.
But that's the thing, man. I think the issue then is that Remy is a little soft. Like he's a rat, but he's a little bit soft.
Yeah.
Like when he gets in trouble in the movie Stuart Little, his rat family helps him.
You're talking about Ratatouille.
Yeah, Ratatouille. Yeah, and they have that big rat. He has like a big rat brother who like helps him out.
Yeah.
But again, this is hands. This is you're on your own. You're not gonna get on top. You're not gonna get on the head of that one dude. What's his name? Linguini. And I don't think Linguini would actually like help him. I think Linguini would get destroyed.
Yeah.
Against Scrat. I think I have Scrat, man.
Yeah, Scrat all the way. Scrat wins the freaking rodent tournament, man.
Scrat wins.
I'll see if I can think of another fictional rodent that might be able to take on Scrat. But Scrat's impressive, dude.
Yeah.
Scrat's a very impressive competitor.
We could follow this up. This is a teaser for the audience. I just came up with this one, but Scrat versus Master Splinter from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, dude, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. We'll do that. We'll do that on another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. To be continued. Oh man, that is so stupid but hilarious.
It is hilarious.
I'm
Like
proud of
picture.
Barry Eagan versus Happy Gilmore, dude. Because I
Oh, that's
thought
a
of
great
like
one.
Billy Madison. I'm like, nah, Billy Madison. He's just playing
No,
with bathtub toys,
he's not
dude.
gonna do nothing. No, he's not
No,
gonna.
Waterboy maybe. Waterboy, Waterboy's got that wrestling
Maybe
advantage.
Waterboard. Maybe that would have been an interesting one too.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I say from there we get into our recaps and then the film.
Recaps.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a very brief recap because we already talked about
Yeah.
Dune. That
Same.
was the other thing that I watched. In terms of listening, I listened to let me see. I'm still tragically in the J's. I listened to like a very iconic um singer in Latin America named Juanes. Great guy. I grew up like listening to a lot of his songs and his music. If you look him up on Apple Music, he has some essential albums, Mi Sangre and Un Día Normal. Those are his two classic albums, and they're great. Um, I re-listened, or rather, I re-listened to his 2017 album, Mis Planes Son Amarte. It's a 12-song album from 2017, and it's great. It's so good. If you're somebody who's listening and you like Latin, like if you like music in Spanish, specifically like Latin pop, and Latin like folk pop, this is where his music kind of falls into. It's great. He's one of the best. And that 2017 album just kind of showed me that he still had it everything in there from top to bottom, specifically the first three songs, Perro Viejo, Ángel, and Fuego, are great songs. Then I listened to his newest album from last year called Vida Cotidiana, which means like everyday life. And that was underwhelming. That just kind of felt like him trying to do like modern pop, where the other album was kind of a fusion of his old style with like new sensibilities. This newer album is all the way just like new kind of pop, and I did not vibe with it. But the Mis Panes Son Marte, the 2017 Juanes album, great album. I really recommend that one. Then I listened to some Juice World. Um,
Nice.
I listened to Goodbye and Good Riddance, his classic album, the one from 2018. And I have to say, man, it's a pretty good album. It holds up. Like it's too long. It's 20 songs long, but it's in there. Like I listened to it and I was like, yeah, this is kind of like a classic of this late 2010s like emo,
Mm.
you know, trap, hip hop, like infusion. It's an album that just kind of has such like a. It just feels like such like a Cuddy, like post Cuddy,
Yeah.
album.
I always say it's
Um,
when like hip hop entered its grunge phase with Juice World and
exactly,
Trippy Red.
exactly. Yeah, because the biggest thing that I came out of listening to this from, like the biggest thing that I got out of it was like, oh, this is such like a Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Like the Kurt Cobain influence in it, it's insane. And again, to me, all of that goes back to Cuddy, because Cuddy was the first guy in a mainstream level who was like fucking with guitars and making guitars and riffs like a big element of his sound.
Yeah.
And obviously Cuddy's a huge Nirvana Kurt Cobain fan. So I just saw like all this like influence that it had on him. And I loved all those beats, like all those guitar heavy, like grungy, like beats. And he's quite the crooner, and some songs it works and some songs it doesn't work. But the album's full of bangers. The thing with the album that struck me is that it's also really immature, and I'm an old man. Like, that's also part of how I came out of it. I was like, I'm too old. Like, it's not for me. I can recognize that the music's really good,
Yeah.
but it's not for me. Like, it's not for me. Um, yeah, I dug it a little bit at the time when it came out, but now listening to it, it's one of those things where it's like I can recognize that this is really good
Mm.
and that he put a lot of effort into this. And then I also was like, well, I can also recognize that I'm a man in his mid 20s, and this is not for me. Crooning about all the nonsense he's talking about. It's I'm not the audience for it.
Yeah.
But I did think it was pretty good, so I'm not gonna take that away from him. I also listened to Death Race for Love. I made it to song number 10 and I quit.
You quit?
So there's 23 songs here. I got to the song named Feeling. I did not like any of the songs. I did not like Empty. I did not like Robbery. I
I
did not
feel
like
so goddamn empty.
Yeah, I did not like any of those songs. They were not for me. A lot of the songs were really like repetitive and yeah, I did not like it. A lot of songs I couldn't get like past like a minute of it,
Wow.
and that's where I quit the album. I was like, I can't get past like a whole minute of these songs, so I'm not even gonna bother. So I just quit. Again, his first album I thought was pretty good. Again, not for me. The subject matter is not one that I enjoy, and it doesn't connect with me. And then the other album, I couldn't even listen to it, and so I didn't bother continuing to go down his discography because I was like, if the best work that he has, I can't connect to it because of the subject matter,
Mm.
and then the other thing that he has, I thought it was pretty bad. I was like, I'm not even gonna bother. Um, that's my recap, everybody.
Yeah. I will say what you're saying is very interesting because I actually had that thought recently too. Just to touch on this briefly, like because I still very much sonically enjoy a lot of, like mumble rap or rage music and stuff like that. But I will say, like, yeah, as someone like you in their mid 20s now, I do find myself kind of like rolling my eyes a little bit when at the lyricism. Like, it's just, it is just, I don't know. Sometimes it just makes me feel like I'm back in It gives me almost like this weird kind of feeling like I'm
Yeah.
plugged into a dialysis machine or something, and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like, or like accelerating toward my death, like like
Yeah.
I'm in a time
Yeah.
machine or something, and I'm going, like I'm reliving
Yeah.
college years,
Yeah.
like when I was
And it
18. It's like a
yeah.
weird feeling when it's like, this is stuff I was listening to when I was 18,
Yeah,
and
and I
it's
and
like,
I can't do it.
again,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't do it.
again, sonically, I still like it, but when
100%.
you hit the lyrics and it's just, I took your bitch and I
Yeah.
popped the
And that's
Xanny, I
and
popped the
exactly.
ecstasy
No, dude,
pill.
exactly.
It's
And that's
like,
what I'm trying
and
and that's
every
exactly what I'm trying to put
song is
across
that,
too.
dude. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to put across. That it's like sonically, and that's why I mentioned Cobain and Cuddy and his influence. Like
yeah,
sonically, I have nothing but praise for this. It's really
yeah,
cool. But in terms of like the subject matter and even the performances, I'm not here for it.
yeah,
I'm not here for the crooning. A lot of the crooning and some of the even in Goodbye and Good Riddance, a lot of the crooning, I'm just kind of like, oh, that's kind of bad.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
that's rough.
yeah,
Like that's pretty bad.
yeah.
So yeah, man, yeah, it's too juvenile. Again, I'm a grown man. You can't
I
you
know.
can't catch me listening to this. And even me listening to it on my own, I was like, I was like, I'm having an out of body experience, and it's not positive.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I know. It's like it brings me back to like being 17 and 18 again, and it's just I don't know, it does. It just makes my stomach turn a little bit where it's just like, oh
Yeah.
god, this is the same stuff. It's like if they could just elevate the lyricism a little bit and the subject matter. Like, again, that's why this is why I stayed though with Chief Keef, because as he
Mhm.
got older, he's our age, and as he
Mhm.
got older,
Mhm.
he started incorporating puns, wordplay,
Yeah.
clever, just being clever and
Yeah, because
humorous,
that's the thing. A
and
lot of these
bringing
guys are
that
too
into.
young. Yeah,
Yeah,
and a
he
lot of them
became
also
like a.
just stay on like yeah they stay on like Arrested Development, and then they just keep making the same
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. Yeah, and it's just like, oh my god, life goes on, man. I can't be listening to stuff about like, drink until you're falling over and popping Xans, and it's just like,
Yeah.
enough. And every song is like the same thing. It's like he's saying the
Yeah, it's the
same
same
shit
thing.
on every song.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Whether it's an animated song or like a slow song, they're all saying the same thing.
yeah, I know,
Yeah.
dude. It's so funny that you say that, because I think I had that same feeling listening to a Trippie Redd song yesterday, where I'm just like,
Yeah.
sonically, it's so good, and I love the
Exactly.
sound, but it's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I just got to skip it after a while, because it's just like,
Yeah.
got your bitch on my dick playing with my Dragon Balls. It's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me, dude. I've realized that I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, I know.
I'm too old for this.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, I'm too old for that,
Well,
dude.
my recap will be very brief. I have one thing to talk about, and that's I didn't watch any movies. I was partying this weekend. Jack and I were hardcore partying.
Oh, dude,
So I didn't
nice.
watch any movies. I got some stories about that, by the way, this weekend. But that's for off the podcast. But no, it was fun. We went nightclub in Charlotte scene. It was great. But yeah, so no movies. But I have been watching that miniseries on Netflix from the Narcos creators called Griselda. With
I heard about
Sofia Vergara is in it. It's
that.
really good, dude. So like on one hand, it's very much kind of there's a little bit of like eye rolls that I do where it's like, this is the same. This is Scarface. It's just the same thing. It's like big drug lord. They're on, it's like they're on the bottom. They're bottom feeder, and then they work their way
Boop,
up.
boop,
But
boop,
then
boop, boop.
but then they start getting high on their own supply. And it's like, I get it. Which, by the way, this is based on a true story. So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of the negative. It's just this tale has been done to death. What I will say is the execution, impeccable. So good. I don't know if it's just because I haven't seen Scarface in a long time, but dude, you know how in Scarface you get to a point in that movie where you're just like, I hate this guy. This guy sucks. Like, he's just snorting
Mm.
cocaine, killing his friends, like, just telling everybody off, like being a paranoid fuck. You know what I mean? And it's just like, this guy sucks. Same with Goodfellas. Like, by the end, you're just like, this guy sucks. Go to jail.
Yeah.
This one,
Go to jail.
yeah, this one, I feel that like 10 times more, where it's like, oh my god, like it's a bigger turnaround, because I feel like in Scarface and Goodfellas, you don't even like them that much to begin with. It's all
Mhm.
sort of like Tony Montana's never really very likable. I think people are drawn to him though because there are admirable qualities about him, where he has a lot of balls and like he has principles and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's never very likable. But Griselda, what Sofia Vergara brings to that character and what the writers did and the director, she's very much, they make her out to just really be like an underdog, and it really works well, where you're really rooting for her. And then it's just this a 180 where you're like, oh my god, I hate this person so much. What a piece of shit,
Mhm.
But that it's a bigger 180. It's like a total 180 versus like maybe like a 90-degree spin in Scarface and Goodfellas. Complete
Mhm.
180 with Griselda, where it's like you really like her at first, where and I the whole time it's like, of course she's not really doing the right thing, but all she's really doing at the beginning is just moving like kilos of cocaine, which again is not great, but she's not like a stone cold killer or anything like that at the beginning.
Mhm.
And so yeah, very impressive. And I have one episode left. And I will say that I know it's kind of cliche. It's a cliche these days to say that like, oh, this actor crushes it. And it's like, well, yeah, they've been doing it for 30 years now. It's their job. They
Right.
do it for a living, like
Right.
whatever. So I kind of roll my eyes sometimes when people like, just on social media. It's kind of the same thing with the like this movie's a masterpiece thing, where it's just like a boy who cried wolf kind of thing at this point. Like, that actor crushed it. Sofia Vergara really crushed it with this, where like, dude, the intricacies of her line delivery, her facial expressions, like just like these micro expressions that she has in different moments on that show. are just so like effective. So, like I can't even. It's like I can't even put it into words. It's just, she's a master of her craft.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
All right, a big recommendation. I want to check it out. I've been hearing a lot of positive things about it.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes too. So
it's a miniseries. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, let's get into the film of the week. So yeah, folks, the film of this week was the 1982 classic B movie monster movie, Q, the Winged Serpent.
Yeah, with Kill Bill.
Yeah, with Kill Bill and Bill Burr is in it as well.
Dude, you said it. You said it. That was like my biggest thing.
I know.
After watching this movie,
oh
I
my
was
god,
like, this guy is just a Bill Burr,
dude.
It's just him,
dude. And the way he says certain things too, like he's just like he's just like, man, I know what the serpent is. It's like, oh my god, that's fucking Bill Burr. I feel like I'm listening to the Monday morning podcast here.
Yeah.
Michael Moriarty. And we're not. I looked up Michael Moriarty, Bill Burr, and that's a thing that's been because it's uncanny. I mean,
it's uncanny. He sounds just like him.
I mean,
just like him.
He looks, sounds, and has the same mannerisms as him. I mean, it's unreal.
I could not believe it. The whole time I was like, what is going on? What is this? Who is this guy?
Because logically in my brain, I'm like, well, Bill Burr was like 10 years old when this came out, but there's still a part of me that was like, am I wrong? Is he older than I think? Like, I know Bill Burr grew up in the 70s, but am I wrong about that? Is he a fucking time traveler? What's going on? But yeah, talk to me, man. What'd you think about this incredibly zany film?
Man, this is one of those movies where it's like it's just through and through a B movie. Like it starts and it's just this goofy guy like cleaning this woman's windows and his head goes missing, you know, and then it's like, oh, what happened to his head? Well, how did it go missing? You know, and then we have Kill Bill and like what is it? Roundtree is the name of the actor, his counterpart, the other guy, and they're just like, oh, what happened? You know, and you have these things going on where it's like Kill Bill, I forget what his name is. He's like there's some weird subplot with some cult stuff going on. And I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. And then you have Bill Burr. I'm not gonna call this guy anything else.
I decided that too.
And his like I don't know, like crime. He's like small time crime stuff.
Yeah, con man.
So you have these two things, and you're like, you know, in my head, it's like these things have to converge. And as these two things are happening, you also have the whole thing with the serpent, and it's just like randomly killing people who are in high places. And I mean, I thought it was a decent time. I actually don't have that much to say about this movie.
Really?
Like, I thought it was a decent time. It just felt kind of like one of those classic like B movies with just like random nonsense happening here and there. There's a guy that looks just like Paul McCartney.
Dude, I noticed that too. It's like a cameo from. It looked like a cameo from Paul McCartney, which like, logically, I'm sure that's not the case. But
no,
it's like at one point he's like, "Look there."
Yeah, and I'm like, is that? I was like, is that Paul McCartney? I was like, is that him? Is that purposely like a thing that they did in this movie?
That had to be on purpose.
It had to be on purpose. But yeah, and then obviously then you have like very gratuitous like fan service scenes with women, you know, bathing or whatever, and people creeping on them, and the snake comes and gets either the creepers or the women. It was just like a very much like this is like a 60s 70s like movie, you know, B movie, like all the elements are here. And then it ends like King Kong. Yeah.
Well,
it's funny.
I said that too. It's a reverse King Kong.
It's
where
funny,
the monster is flying and the guys are in the building shooting at the monster versus vice versa.
It's funny that in the poster of the film they have the serpent holding like a blonde woman, even though that's never like an actual scene in the movie that you see.
Well, I hate That's a staple of those movies. If you look at every B monster movie, it's always holding a woman.
They always have this holding a woman.
Whether it's a spider, praying mantis, an ape, whatever it is, it's always holding a woman.
And honestly, I hated Bill Burr. I hated him. I could not. I was like, the serpent has to kill this guy. Right?
Oh, dude.
I was like, the serpent has to kill this guy. He was so insufferable.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I could have sworn, because I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I could have sworn the serpent killed him. I didn't remember
the serpent to kill him.
Dude,
I wanted the serpent to kill him so bad.
I could have sworn up and down. I have like a totally fake memory of the serpent killing him, because that's where you think the movie's going the whole time, and that was like the big, that was the big miss, I think, of this movie. Besides the really rushed ending.
Like, yeah, it's the ending is just rushed, and Kill Bill just saves him in a hysterically comical scene.
Yeah,
so comical. When he shoots that guy 7 times.
Well, dude, and then he shoots the guy, and then they leave the room, and Bill Burr's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go." It's like, okay. Yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna leave.
What's going on?
Well, he's like leaving a crime scene. He's just like, some guy tries to kill you. The cop kills the attempted murder, and then you're just like, I'm gonna head out, officer.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I was like, what is going on? I was like, what the whole time? I was like, what's going on? And I was like, why was this scene so comical? Why did they do this? Why did he have to shoot that guy so many times? Why did that guy keep getting up? And why, after he shot him a bunch of times, why does he go, that guy was really tough to kill, wasn't he? And I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you saying this straight to the camera? I don't know. I thought this movie was goofy. This is a goofy movie.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
And I thought that the sign of the serpent was only good in the poster. It looks like shit in the movie.
Yeah.
In the movie, it looks like absolute shit. And it kills some of those guys in the building that are shooting at it. And those guys are just fake toys.
Those shots look horrible.
They look horrible.
They looked better in the 50s when they did these kinds of movies all the time. They look better in those. But
then also the other issue that I had was that the movie didn't have anything to say about that. Like you would think that the movie would be like, oh, these guys are monsters, like the police. But the movie's painting what they're doing as absolutely the right thing. It's like they're doing the right thing, Especially when they kill its baby. They
I felt bad for that thing.
They all just annihilate that thing. They all annihilate it. They annihilate that thing. And I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, I was like, is this supposed to be bad? And it never paints it as bad.
No.
It paints it as they're doing the right thing. They should kill this baby. They should be killing the serpent. It's not, the movie never questions it. With the Godzilla, it's always they shouldn't be doing this. This is just an animal, and they removed it from where. But with this movie, it's no, this is the right thing. They need to kill the serpent. They need to kill its baby. They need to do all of these things.
Yeah, no, this movie has a very weak thematic foundation for sure.
And then for a second there, the serpent almost gets Kill Bill, and he dodges it, and then he just quips, and he goes it almost got me.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
His lines were horrendous, man. I forgot how campy this movie was. I remembered it was campy, but I forgot just how bad some of the lines are delivered and shit.
Yeah.
But I remembered it the first time I watched it. I was like, this is really stupid. However, I actually really like this movie. I'm gonna get into why, but
go ahead.
But we can keep ripping on it too.
Like I said, I don't have that much to say about this movie. I feel like I've said my part. I just thought it was goofy.
Yeah.
I thought it was a goofy movie. It was kind of fun here and there. Like I said, I hated Bill Burr and I wanted him to die. And the fact that he didn't die, I was disappointed by that. I hated him. I did not know why his girlfriend was with him. I hated that guy so much.
Yeah.
I was like, why does anybody like this guy? He's an asshat. he doesn't even know how to play the piano like at all. Even though the Kill Bill was like, I thought you did pretty good. He did horrible. He was just fucking scatting and like throwing his sausage fingers into keys. Like
no, he was. Those were actual like notes and stuff that he was
I
saying.
hated him. I hated him. Even what he was doing there, I hated it. I was like, I hate what he's doing. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like his scatting. I don't like his sausage fingers dabbing the keys, even if it was rhythmic in some way. I hated him. Yeah.
I hate him. I hate him by the end for sure. Like when he starts like poo-pooing the deaths of the people that came before him and saying that like I'm a hero, you know, because I'm preventing tomorrow. I was like, oh fuck this guy. You know, I knew he was a sleazeball the whole time, but that's when I really started hating him. So here's what I'll say about Q. So a little bit of background here. I grew up loving Godzilla, right? That's what got me into film was Godzilla at 5 years old, right? So already giant monsters, kaiju. And then when I was around like 9 or 10, I had this phase where I got really into like the Willis O'Brien, Ray Harryhausen stuff, like the stop motion stuff. So I got really into 50s B monster movies. So you got like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Giant Behemoth, Black Scorpion. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Them, the Giant Ant movie, Deadly Mantis. I mean, there's like, you know, a ton of these things. A very charming era of film. And a lot of them are bad. We watched one for the podcast before we had a proper setup and stuff. 20 Million Miles to Earth, the Ray Harryhausen animated one. With the remember that one with the rocket ship and the
I think so.
The monster, he's like sad and the people are, you know,
I have vague memories.
He's from Venus. Yeah. But so I have a lot of love for just stop motion, especially that 50s era, but just stop motion monsters and stop motion effects like that in general, you know, like Clash of the Titans, I love. So I have a very special place in my heart for that era. Like when people say, oh, the 50s were the you know, worst era of film, I'm like, are you sure? Because man, you got all these you know, of varying degrees of you know, of success. There's actually some really good ones, though. I will say there are a few, like besides the original Godzilla, of course, but like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is really solid and suspenseful, and the movie Them, which is about giant ants, that's actually a pretty effective chiller. So all that being said, I have a special place in my heart for this kind of stuff. So I was really interested when I first learned of Q, because I had always, as a kid, studying stop motion and reading about it, I had always seen like pictures from this movie of the serpent. But I never got around to watching it. Thank God, as a kid, because this is like a gory ass movie.
It is.
I was very shocked. I didn't remember it being that gory. Like there's like the flaying scenes and shit. That was disgusting.
That I did not. Every time they did that. Every time they showed that, I was like, this is gross.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. Like all the camp we were ripping on and stuff. However, I'm going to make a case for this movie because I really like this movie. There's a few things that I really love about this movie that I think this movie does really well and should be commended for. Is one thing I love about this movie is you have these three crimes / cases that intertwine, and I think this movie handles subplots really effectively, where you have these three seemingly unrelated things at the beginning, right? You have the cult murders, you have the mysterious Winged Serpent murders, or not murders, slaughterings, whatever you want to call it, killings. And then you have Bill Burr, the con artist, robbing banks or whatever with these mafiosos. Three seemingly unrelated things that all end up converging. And I think the way they do that is very well done. And I really love that about this movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from the movie. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, and it kind of did it. So if you look at like those older 50s monster movies, generally they didn't really do things like that, where it was all just kind of like about this one thing. You know, this scientist and this general and this, you know, scientist's daughter are like, you know, coming together to figure out what the monster is, and then from there how to stop it, right? And so you didn't really have things like that, but introducing that crime aspect into this one was really interesting, because they could have just done the run of the mill thing with this movie, where it's like, I'm a policeman, there's a winged serpent, we got to stop it, and that's the movie, right? But no, they found a way to do this, bring in a serial killer storyline and a cop or a con man storyline, and interweave that in a really interesting way. So I think this movie does a really good job with that, where they didn't go for that obvious like kill the monster storyline, and this movie to me is much more than that, and I thought that was very interesting.
I'm laughing just thinking about Bill Burr.
Yeah, man, holy shit. So on that note, the suspense during the tower sequences where Bill Burr is going up into the tower, both times, that first time he goes up, and then that second time when he leads the mafiosos, the stupid mafiosos, by the way, into the tower, both of those scenes, the suspense is like palpable during those scenes, I thought. Just that, like, the quietness of like when he's climbing, you hear the wind whistling.
I dug the first scene where they did that. The second time, I was just kind of like, okay, I get what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but they really, that first one, dude, they really stretched that rubber band, man, where he's running from the security guard, and then he's climbing up, and then he like sees the egg, and then it's just very quiet and creepy, and you just see the wheels turning, like, what the fuck's going on here? And I love that scene. I like the, and setting aside like the contrivances and things like that, I'm well aware, but I like the vibes of like the Aztec stuff, like the museum with the Aztec. I'm a sucker for like artifacts and archaeology and stuff like that. So, and some of my favorites are either Egyptian or Mesoamerican stuff. So like Aztec, Mayan, stuff like that. The Aztec mask that the serial killer wears, I thought was super creepy, although I don't think he should have spoke. I think it would have been better if he was just silent. But like when he says like, don't worry, it'll be over soon, I'm just like, don't talk under that thing. You look scary, man. Why'd you have to talk? But I like that stuff. That stuff's very interesting. And then let me see. Yeah, but like big serious problems besides even the camp. Like I think there's like some genuine issues with this movie that veer away from camp and just go into like bad territory, which again, it's like laughable bad. It's still a fun movie, but it is just like kind of subjectively shitty in my opinion. One, I think, is the detective is so quick to buy into the God thing.
Yeah, he does.
The second the museum curator says Quetzalcoatl, he's like, well, I guess that's our monster.
Yeah.
That's our man, Quetzalcoatl, and it's not just an animal, it's a god. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, he got into that like very quickly.
It's like, dude, you are gullible, man. Holy shit.
He was like, this is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his line delivery in this movie was horrible. Everything that he said.
Dude, I thought the same thing. I'm like, is this the actor or the director? Because the actor in Kill Bill, he's great with the whole like Superman monologue and stuff. Like, but dude, every scene he would just come up, he'd like enter the scene, and he would just deliver a line in the worst way, like
the worst way possible.
You called for me. I guess we have another dead body. Like,
no, he did it. He did it in the worst way. Sometimes it was
so
funny. Sometimes
bad.
it was just bad.
Oh, so bad. So that was a big problem. It's like, dude, and it's like the thing doesn't even end up. It's like kind of questionable whether it actually is a god or if it's just some animal,
some creature,
because it lays an egg. But the guy is like adamant that it's a god. But it's like, dude, there's no evidence of this. You can't like, just because there's some Aztec serial killer running around killing people, it could be a chicken or the egg thing where it's like the Aztec serial killer saw the winged serpent and then said, oh my god, it's Q, and then started killing. You don't know that. You're the world's worst detective, dude.
Truly.
And then Yeah, the ending is so rushed. Like the
Mhm.
serial kill already, it's like, why didn't Bill Burr get killed by the serpent? That is clearly where this movie was
It
building
should have
to.
gone. Yeah, yeah,
It's building to it the whole time. It's like promising us this.
yeah.
It's
I was like,
all
we'll
but
kill this guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
this movie all but promised us that the serpent would eat
yeah.
Bill Burr, and it didn't. And
I
it's
was
like, fuck
eager,
you.
and it didn't. Yeah, it
And then
didn't
you have
kill
this
him.
weird ending where the serial killer gets, and you're like, oh shit, okay, the serial killer is gonna get him, okay. But and
Yeah.
then the detectives pull up outside, and it's like, how did they fucking know that the serial killer
No,
was
this guy was
here?
in this random ass room. Yeah,
All they needed was one 5-minute scene where the detective has some realization of like, fuck, get over to Bill Burr's apartment right now, go, go,
right.
go.
And that wasn't even his apartment. That he was just he was staying in a random hotel room, and he asked the detective like, "How did you find me here in this random hotel room?" And the detective was like, "Oh, we've been searching every like low life hotel." And it's like, dude, you can't just say that.
Yeah, I know.
This is
You
a
can
random room in a random hotel, and you randomly showed up here.
right when the serial killer was there. Get the fuck out
Yeah,
of here.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the thing, which again, it's like funny, but it's so stupid when Bill Burr just walks away from the crime scene.
Just walks away.
It's like,
And he just tells him like, "Oh, just go back to your girlfriend." And he's like, I'll get a job and maybe we'll see." It's like, oh god, man.
it's like someone tries to kill you, cop kills him. I gotta head out, officer. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Don't you have to take notes? Jesus Christ. Don't you have to take a statement? Like, holy shit. But anyway. And then yeah, dude, one thing too, I have no problem. Of course, they're gonna show another egg at the end. That's like a foregone
Yeah,
conclusion.
right.
Obviously, every single monster movie that was ever made, it's like the ending is always there's might be more out there.
There's more.
It's
Yeah,
either that or a tragic shot of the monster screaming its final death howl, or whatever.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's like one of the two, right? And even Godzilla, you actually get both, which is great. Both are fucking great. But in this one, I have no problem with the egg reveal, but then the egg splits open and there's nothing in it, and it just zooms in on darkness, and it's like, what the fuck? What
What
the
the fuck is
fuck?
this? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you
yeah.
couldn't use the puppet again. Did you actually shoot it and you couldn't use it anymore? Like, what the fuck's going on?
They actually annihilated that puppet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh guys, maybe we should have shot this ending thing before we killed the puppet. We should have shot this out of order.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But no, but I those are some things I have to be unbiased and shit on, but I will say, like, because of the things I said earlier, I think this movie is like, a solid B movie. It's a fun
Yeah.
time.
It's a
And
decent.
and there's
For
there's
me,
some good stuff going on. Like, on, as just a general like plot
yeah.
line, there's some good shit going on here.
For me, I agree with the positives that you have about this film. I don't think they supersede
Sure,
the
sure.
negatives.
For me, they supersede.
It's a hilarious movie. If I was just rating this movie on how funny it is, I would probably give it like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, yeah.
I hated Bill Burr. I hated him, and the fact that he just walks away from this movie, I'm like, this is unforgivable.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with that.
I, ratings wise, I would give this movie like a 4 out of 10, maybe a
Yeah,
3,
yeah, yeah.
4 in a good day. Like yeah, it's a silly ass movie. It's one of those movies where it's like I could watch it again just drinking. but
Sure, sure.
That's it. I
Yeah.
don't want to shut up this movie too much. I know you appreciate it, but yeah, it just
I mean, don't hold back on
it,
my account.
it didn't have me. It didn't have me. Yeah.
Well, you gotta take risks, man. Fortune favors the bold. But I'm glad we watched this movie again. I always I had a fun time the first time I watched this movie. And yeah, like you said, the positives don't supersede the negatives. For me, the positives supersede a lot of the negatives with this movie. Not quite as much on the second viewing. I gave it an 8 the first time. I'm gonna have to go down to a 7 this time, because I do think there's, if anything, it's like missed opportunities where there's things that are so frustrating where it's like, this could have been so good, like with that creepy ass Mayan or Aztec mask, and like the building up to Bill Burr
Yeah.
being eaten by the serpent, and on and on and on, where it's like, there were things that had so much potential that it was frustrating watching that potential get flushed. So for those reasons, I do have to downgrade it by a point this time. So 7 out of 10 from me, because I do think it's a fun, just kind of like afternoon B monster movie. And I have a special place in my heart for this subgenre that we're really never going to get again. Like it's a thing of the past.
Truly,
stop motion
truly
animation. And I always said, dude, if I ever, like, one of my big goals when I'm a big, when I'm a big strutting around famous
Big
author,
wig.
dude. Yeah, I want to do an anthology show, an anthology horror show, and have each episode be like something unique, right? But like even have episodes that harken back to a certain era, to where it literally looks like if we do an 80s one, it would literally look like it was made in the 80s. And do one for that for the 50s, and do actual stop motion and like the whole shebang. I would love to do that, just to bring it back. Like I would love for someone to bring this subgenre back. Which I guess they kind of did with that Cthulhu movie we watched, which I want to see more of that, where people, do like a not just a period piece, but they actually make it look like it could have been made back then.
Yeah. Well, dude, I pray for that. That sounds great.
Yeah, man.
I love that idea.
Thanks, dude. What you got for us next week, sir?
Well, we are watching Dune this weekend.
Right.
So I wanted to do a Denis Villeneuve double feature. I think you and I have seen most of his films. I didn't want to overburden us too much, but I'm going to keep us on that same track. We'll watch Dune 2, so we'll bring you guys Dune 2's review next week.
Yeah.
But also I wanted us to watch the movie Incendies from 2010. So another Denis Villeneuve movie.
Okay.
I think you haven't seen that one.
No,
I believe I've seen all of his movies except his first two, which are August 32nd on Earth and then Maelstrom from the 98 and then 2000. But I did watch Polytechnic from 2009. And I think I've seen every other movie he's made. And I believe you've seen every other movie he's made except for Polytechnic and Incendies in his first two. So I say we watch Dune 2, and then we also watch Incendies and see what we think about all these things.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Sounds like a plan, dog. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us. If you're still here, what are you still doing here? Go outside and play. Get some sunshine. Right. Shouldn't be inside listening to this bullshit. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Next time, Film Tangents. See ya.
See ya.